my charm. Everything I know will be gone in a minute, and that's alright. Running through the last of my thoughts, standing on the edge of my charm. Everything I know will be gone in a minute, and that's alright. Alright, 'cause I'm free. I'm freer than I've ever been before. Yeah, baby, I'm free. I'm freer than I've ever been before. Alright, 'cause I'm free. I'm freer than I've ever been before. Yeah, baby, I'm free. I'm freer than I've ever been before.
They did find Cucumber, but he's going to lift him.
Oh, Vulcan gets caught right into that, and Speed is going to be
Oh,
able to follow
no.
up. Talking
You
about
let
jumping
him
over to
do.
the Doofus, talking about playing into the
A
Doofus.
manos de la bola. Ya son 3 las picks que conseguía el equipo de British Hurricane.
We need your help to decide our Opinion Outpost MVP of the match.
He's got a minute to kind of work some sort of pick against this Doc, and oh my good lord, he just got eviscerated.
He's not dead! Hey, now he's dead!
Holy cow, I've never seen someone get so aggressive.
Oh, catches their opponent outside of the building, and that is it.
It's Rocket League Wednesday on the High School Esports League home room. I am, as the kids say, vibing right now. This is just fumes for them, while Pharaoh rips shot after shot after shot of the back.
Good wall towards site, but it's already been broken, so they can't even get that spike down trustedly. Camera over towards site, and again, it's getting all that information. Hebot going absolutely massive!
Here in this map number 4 season, up on championship point, being up 2-1. Nifty dropped down to 19 HP. Joker with his M13 in hand is just trying to hold the angles.
Welcome everybody to the ELO Hell Esports broadcast. It is I, Toasty, joined here by Coach Kobe to bring you the GGEU coverage for today. We've got a rookie game, we've got an intermediate game, so a lot to get through here, Kobe. We'll be starting off with Lustrum versus Pretty Savage. Later on, moving on to TC Red Sky versus Black Bulls.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Thank you for having me. Like I said, I'm pretty excited to take a look at some of these games today. In particular, taking a look at some of the starting rosters for the teams. Looking at Lustrium's first, I did do a little glance because I was actually unfamiliar with both the teams thus far, and the starting DPS, Matthias in particular, on the side of Lustrium, looks like that they listed as their most played hero as Reaper. So that's kind of an interesting main, and then the part that I find interesting about that is taking a look over in Camp Pretty Savage. They have Jarnu is a Mei, listed themselves as a Mei main. So I'm thinking that we may see some straight up brawls, some fist to the face action here. Both teams are going to play like a Reaper Mei approach. along with some Reinhardts. I don't see any Winston, so I'm thinking this might be a good old fashioned thumping today.
Yeah, and as a fellow May OTP myself as well,
Oh.
it's always nice to find others of my kind, I'll tell you that much. We're a rare breed, but yeah, I think this will be, as much as it's a rookie game, might lead to some slower-paced gameplay, even if it is Brawl. I've seen way too many Plat teams just run the kind of, like, BAP Zen, usually, with, like, a Brawl, which is not what you're, like, seeing at all. But hey, I mean, whatever works, works. I don't think we'll see too much fast-paced gameplay, but the compositions, at least in the right hands, will lend themselves to a very head-on game today. Especially because Brawl, like we say, you know, it's one of the most easy compositions to play.
For sure. Easy to play, hard, difficult to master, right? So, you know,
Yeah.
both teams do list that they have a Lucio as their starting. So no BAP Zen action for you. You'll be spared from the BAP Zen. But both teams having a Lucio, maybe we do get to see some of that slam into each other. And the other interesting thing, Mad Booper in Lustrium list themselves as an Ana player, while we do have a BAP player out of Hakaisha over on... over in Camp Pretty Savage again. So we'll have to see how the support lineups work, but I'm thinking this might be Lucio Ryan Reaper, Lucio Ryan May just slam into each other somewhere in the middle, and then that will determine the game. So some pretty interesting win conditions already seeming to set themselves up before we even get into the lobby here.
Absolutely, and something critical to mention there as well is you said the May and the Reaper mains are on opposite teams, right? That will probably lend itself to maybe a difference in styles between the kind of Cassidy versus Reaper matchup. That's something that always happens in Brawl, just here and there and everywhere, is one team will opt for kind of the May Reaper, one team will opt for the May Cassidy, and really that matchup, it's like a kind of poke-based Brawl versus more of a head-on Brawl. It is very, very dynamic as a matchup, so if that's what we're seeing out these two teams today, I am hella excited.
Yeah, for sure. And Lustrium does actually appear to be about 100 to 150 SR on average, a little bit higher. Not that SR tells the story. Obviously, playing in a team competitive environment is completely different, but they do seem to be just a little bit higher. So it should be interesting to see if they can generate any advantage off of the extra damage from the Reaper. You know, maybe they'll surprise us and we won't see Reaper or May the first map here, which is Control.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were mentioning, I believe, the first control map here is going to be Nepal, which is a map that you can play a lot of diverse styles on, but can does not equal will, right? I mean, you can play Brawl on all three of the maps pretty confidently, so it's not like we're guaranteed to see any funky monkey stuff or ball comps, you know, the wacky stuff, especially at this kind of level, at this kind of plat to diamond level. But it is definitely possible. Nepal is a varied map, like we say.
Definitely, and picked by Pretty Savage. That would be the higher ranking teams, and this is a playoff match. So they selected Nepal as their control map for map 1 this week. And I actually found that pretty interesting right away. The second I heard that, I kind of raised my eyebrows. Lustrium has listed, I do have here, that they have their favorite map for control listed as Busan. So you have to wonder, did Pretty Savage do some research? Do they have a specific strat they want to play on Nepal? Typically one would associate that with Oasis. But as we kind of roll right through here, it looks like the first map of Nepal that we're going to get to see played is going to be, is this Village? No, actually, it looks like this is Shrine. Shrine, yeah. So it looks like we're going to get Shrine up first. Well, there's our Brawl map right there in particular, like you mentioned. But yeah, really interesting they picked Nepal. I'm halfway curious to see if they don't break out some specific strat that they have coming into the map up there.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess you called it right. We see Reinhardt's here on both teams, which I think is about what we would have expected. So one difference you did mention before is that Ana versus that Baptiste, right? Mad Booper versus Hakaisha. I just think that's going to impact this match.
Yeah, it's interesting. So, you know, I like the Baptiste more. The double AoE heals is great, but they're playing Ana with double hit scan. So, oh, never mind. There's the Reaper. Here we go. So, but if Ana's gonna,
double hit scan.
if Ana could sit in the back and farm some damage in, as well as land some huge antis to shut down some of the double AoE heals, it could be a turning point for either. But that being said, Immor is such a strong cooldown. You know how it goes.
Yeah, Lustrum certainly have a more pick-based composition here. Those anti-nades can deal a lot of damage. Ooh. And Sentai immediately gets taken down, walking just a head ahead of that Reinhardt shield. Gets taken down early, and unfortunately that means the Lustrum have to back up. They're losing a lot of that damage that they really need to engage. Ninja Man as well gets flashed up on the side angle, but Lord Kama feeding a little bit there. And a nice sleep onto the Reinhardt as well. Zima gonna fall to a pin from the enemy Reinhardt. That should be an initial point gap here for Lustrum.
Yeah, that's going to be the end of the first fight. Mei just trying to hold out for as long as possible, but all she's really doing is staggering herself there. It's not like they're gaining any extra percentage, so Lustrum's going to take the first point. It was kind of an unfortunate pick on Sentai, of course, right off the bat with the getting slammed by the Mei. And Mad Booper, I don't know if you saw, Mad Booper actually had a pretty big anti, but because they lost that initial pick right away, they had to kind of back out to the side. Doom kind of backed out, but yeah, the Mad Booper did have a big anti, and they were unable to kind of follow up, even though they lost the first pick there.
Yeah, and here's Lexi over onto the Reaper as well. They want to go head on with this,
Another
but there's
one.
A huge anti and the shatter on top of it. That is disgusting, and it's going to deal so much damage to the side of Pretty Savage, and Lustrum again just eating them all up. Free ult charge.
Absolutely free ult charge, and now's where we start to see, you know, the pretty dominating fight too out of Lustrum here. And now is we're going to start to see some economy come into play. Lustrum obviously having both support ults, Hakaisha obviously having the window, and then they're coming up on 4 ults as well. So we're looking to see how they premeditate ults. In particular, the grab. We're going to be looking for Lustrum to kind of engage with grab here. We really want them to get the immortality out of Hakaisha first.
Oh, here's the grab though. Ninja Man surprises them from around the corner, and a Death Blossom on top of it. That deals so much damage for Lustrum there. And that's just one of those set plays that you really cannot predict if you're Pretty Savage.
Yeah, I mean, I made the comment about getting the immortality out, but I guess when you dump 5 ults at him, it doesn't matter, right? So almost a little leaky on Lustrum there in the sense that, you know, they had the grab. I think they maybe could have kited in more, used the grab, and then kind of rolled through them with just it. They ended up using Blossom and Deadeye in that fight, so they're really kind of coming in without much. Could be last fight if they win it, but we're gonna see some big ult advantage here on Pretty Savage.
Pretty Savage are gonna have to go hyper aggro. I mean, they get out of the Reaper in the back line as the shatter comes through. Both Reinhardt slamming some people down, but it looks better here for Pretty Savage. They're on to the point. They get that Blizzard through, and they'll be retaking. But look at that percentage, 99%, and they have to go from 0 to that amount.
They do, and they're going to take the fight pretty decisively. It's been this match so far has been pretty much we walk to the point and press Q, and that's definitely what's happened. Is they dumped a bunch of ults. They did hold the window, and Notorious does still have the bomb. Another huge anti lands on him to start the next fight. We're going to go right into the next engagement.
Yeah, I mean, you can see Doomfist trying to take that space here. Amphatrix is going to be used to force some people back, but a slam onto the enemy Reinhardt there. Zima going to get taken out, but nope. Okay, 2k bomb. That's all you need for Pretty Savage, despite your Reinhardt getting stunned early on. And yeah, I mean, this is the stabilization you need. Good ult rotations there.
Definitely. I mean, I think I'd like to see, you know, the window and then maybe not the Diva Bomb, or maybe position them or time them a little bit better. Obviously, it works. You get a 2k with a Diva Bomb, like you said. That's pretty much the fight. And it looks like Lustrum is going to have Noon and Nano for the retake here. But Lexi's could be sneaky. Let's see where Lexi positions to see if they can't go ahead and grab a decent spin to win. Could be an interesting 5th fight.
Here's the Deadeye low and the Nano Boost. Doomfist is right in there. Look at that pin go. Trying to get into their faces and just tearing them apart. Doomfist unstoppable in the back and has that shatter as well if they want to, you know, throw in just some extra punch. But who cares at this point? I mean, Lustrum, they are going to retake here. They're going to get that cap through. And I don't think there's going to be even any stall coming through here from Pretty Savage. They're going to try go to Tracer Doomfist. Maybe they'll get onto that point, but it does not look likely. A nice shatter just near the spawn room. And Lustrum take that first round pretty dominantly.
Pretty decisively, yeah. And I mean, you said it best. You know, Doomfist in there like swimwear, right? Doomfist caught the Nano and just W mouse 1 right into the team. Which is great. You know, I think they maybe thought they had the Noon from behind. The Noon did kind of support them all the way in, but, you know, Doom was just in there, and before Pretty Savage had anything to say about it, you know, he's basically made it past their tank line into their back line on the Nano, the 2 swing kills. You know, it was something we talk about a lot for main tank in particular is bloodthirst that can't be taught, and that was certainly a bloodthirsty play out of Doomfist.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they put up that type of aggression again, Lustrum are looking good. But, I mean, look at this composition they're playing now. It's going to be the Sigma on both sides, but it's the Orisa versus the Hog. What do you think of this?
Yeah, it's interesting. You have to wonder if Pretty Savage didn't rotate to the double shield to try to keep Doomfist at an arm's length so they can negate some of that aggression. But they rotated to a kind of a pokier feel as well. They're going to get 3 right off the bat with Jung taking down Doom, and then Lexi with the 2-piece chicken nugget getting McCree and the Baptiste. Pretty Savage should get aggressive here, push all the way through and get the wipe. What a decisive first pick. Looks like poke is the way for them, huh?
Yeah, I mean, they just fired straight down the middle, and that's all they really needed. Lustrum can't really take as much space as Pretty Savage can because they're lacking that second shield.
Absolutely, and they're gonna hold the high ground here. They're gonna set up right where they should. Use the double shield, use the poke. They have a huge ult economy advantage just from the way they saw through them the first time. I don't really love the push right here just because it's kind of maximizes their poke advantage, but I think that Pretty Savage has adapted quickly, or at least they look like they have. Their goal is gonna be really keep them at the arm's length with the wave.
Yeah, and look at this positioning. I mean, they're all just going to get spammed out from this point. The disruption from the junk mines is so much to deal with there. But unfortunately, actually, it's Matthias that gets taken down. Sentai to follow it. There's your DPS presence gone. And even though Lustrum did technically get that flip over, it's going to go straight back into possession of Pretty Savage here as soon as they clean up.
Absolutely, yeah. Sorry, Lexi with a couple clean double clicks there right to the face, and then a Notorious off to the side the last fight. We just gotta clean up here. Notorious off to the side, poking on Sigma. He kind of self-isoed over to the right there. I think that if Lustrum wasn't caught up in the chaos, as you see, they rotate to some switches there. It looks like they're going Reaper dive here with a Sombra, maybe to negate some of that shield action. But you know, I think that they said, yeah, you can have the point, you can cap it. We'll just wipe you and cap it back in a second, which is exactly what they did.
Yeah, this 6-man can actually kind of dismantle this double shield if performed correctly. Like you say, Sentai on the Sombra here is the key to unlocking the entire thing. They'll get the hack onto the Baptiste. Hekaisha getting bursted down ruthlessly there. And the Lucius right in, takes out the enemy support. That's the kind of engage you need with the 6-man composition in Lustrum. They're pretty happy about that. Fianu will actually take down, well, 2 actually, with that tire. I don't think it matters at the end of the day, but it was a nice flashy play.
Yeah, what great switches, right? Switches and execution. You know, they made the switch and right away the difference. I think both teams, I love to see both teams have an identity. And Lustrum's identity pretty clearly is, we got to get in there. You know, they want to fight in close quarters. So they make the switch to facilitate that and right away get a capture out of it.
Yeah, and Pretty Savage here. They've got to be careful not to let that Baptiste get hacked again, because your entire team is just going to get dismantled. You can't stay as sustained without that immortality field, and there's already a beat here for, well, the Japanese characters there on Lustrum, and they actually hacked up the Gravitic Flux. That is gigantic. The Transcendence just to try and save the team fight, and a beat as well from the Chinese characters on Lustrum. But that Primal Rage is going to bat everyone around, takes the bomb off the map. In fact, that's a Lucio that does that. But unfortunately, Ninja Man and the Lucio are going to get taken out. And Pretty Savage, the stabilization here in the midst of that team fight actually leads to them having a good retake.
It was a strong retake. It was an interesting retake. They pushed left side and kind of decided to fight a top staircase, which I don't know that was the call I would have made. You know, I would kind of be seeking to stretch their dive. Play your poke. That's what you're trying to do. Let the monkey come to you. See if you get Ninja Man to make a dive you shouldn't and punish it. Regardless, it worked for them pretty well. They got the execution. Pardon me, but look for Sentai to come in with an EMP to win the fight itself here.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, one of these rotations from Lustrum where they're trying to go around the side and be sneaky, but they're already caught out. Look at that EMP coming through. Sentai takes on Lord Gamma immediately. And as long as they actually touch the point here, which they probably will, then that's going to be a good team fight for Lustrum. They just need to clean up on the Sigma here, actually, who has taken down 2 Notorious. Maybe making things turnable, but no. Yeah. It will be a Matthias there with the Reaper left clicks. I love the Reaper guy, but yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Matthias shuts down that dream. Notorious thought he had it for a second, had the 1-piece, 2-piece, but Matthias said, no, I think we're done with this. You know, and this should be pretty decisive. You know, they have the tire, they have the booster, but with a really well-timed Blossom, like, I would be kind of sneaking, look for 1 or 2 on the Blossom, and then the Coalescence just to make sure they should be pretty much over here. Matthias should go for a 1 or 2 and just end the game before it gets out of hand.
Yeah, and look at Matthias here as well, maybe scouting out the opposing Junkrat, who is going for a tire here, actually. That could catch the Reaper. Matthias gets taken down early on. There's Coalescence now from Mad Booper, going to try and turn things. A Sentai will take out Hekaisha, so the Baptiste is gone, but no one touches the point. Oh my lord. Yeah. Pretty Savage on the, well, attempt for a retake there. Didn't quite work out for them. and Lustrum take the first map.
Yeah, Lustrum did a really good job there of pushing up to fight where they wanted to create the engagement space off of lobby there. That way they didn't have to fight on point. Obviously the tire, I'm not, I don't think Pretty Savage even maybe knew how big that tire was. Knowing they may be alt tracking really well. And there's Doom coming. There's Doom coming. We see the huge bloodthirsty play by Doomfist we talked about on Shrine. But yeah, you have to wonder if Pretty Savage even knew what a huge swing that was when they got the Reaper off the tire. Getting the Reaper off the tire there obviously shuts down Blossom. Unless they're alt tracking that well, that's a huge heads up play. It looked to me more like the tire just kind of discovered a Reaper around the corner and ended his life before he could. But Lustrum, despite that, doing a great job to force the fight way up in front. That way they didn't even have to win. They just had to make sure that no one got to the point to create the contest. They just had to last for about 8 seconds, it looks like. So a great job, really well played, and potentially really well coached by both teams on map 1 as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But really, that was just the main tank difference there, I would say, as well, from Lustrum. The aggression coming through from Doomfist there on all the heroes they played there, but it will be the Reinhardt we see here. Look at the damage done per 10. I mean, you can tell they're getting in there with those meaty swings.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of that goes to Nano, not to take anything away from Doomfist's performance. Nano was in there. He's doing some great things, but absolutely, that's the bloodthirst. And, I mean, really, I think the major thing, too, we saw from Lustrum there was just big adaptability. Right, they lost the first fight pretty decisively there on the poke, and they made the switch right away. Hey, let's go to the Sombra. Hey, let's go to the Winston. It worked really well when we fought up close and created chaos on our brawl comp on Shrine. Let's move back to a way to do that to close the distance. They made the switches. They were able to engage, and the second they created the engagement they wanted, they won the fight. So I would be looking for Lustrum here to kind of have, at least maybe think they've cracked the code, if you will, and look for them to continue the kind of hard-in approach that won them the first map.
Absolutely, and considering the next map we're going to is King's Row, and Lustrum are defending first, I mean, they have the opportunity to maybe even full hold with the way their brawl was looking. I don't think it's quite going to happen, but it is a potential possibility, especially because of the aggression that we were just talking about, especially when the supports are keeping up Doomfist like that, like with the nanos, as well, just on the actual, the engages on the 6-man as well, right, when they're playing other main tanks. They've got that flexibility, they've got that trust in the support line.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I like you said, you mentioned a minute ago, I think that map 1 was kind of the tank diff, or the battle of the tanks. This one I think we'll probably see being on King's Row. Shout out King's Row, it's everybody's favorite map, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, this is the one where it's like, hey, what map are we going to play for hybrid? Well, this one could be pre-filled on the form, right? But this is where we'll see the support difference. There's a lot of angle isolations here, much better angle isolations than on Nepal for the Ana. So here's where we're going to be looking for that Baptiste, versus Mad Booper on the Ana out back, specifically on defense. Having the Ana be able to take some more aggressive angle isolations might pump some even more heals into Lustrum's brawl. If I was Lustrum here, I would play a defense where I put the Ana out back, lock in on the Rhine, or lock in on even any main tank, but in particular probably wouldn't dive, and just let Lustrum Mad Booper maintain a healthy distance and maximize us having an Ana and then playing double AoE. We've already seen that Mad Booper can land some crazy antis, so if he can stay safe and keep pumping in those antis, I see a pretty difficult road ahead for Pretty Savage.
Absolutely. I mean, Pretty Savage, they've got a task ahead of them. We'll call it that. I mean, Lustrum have been looking dominant. Even on that second, round of Nepal, where it looked like they were a bit shaky at the start, they had to make the compositional swap. They were taking these really decisive and quick team fights, like right up in Pretty Savage's face, because they realize, okay, they're playing Orisa Sigma, they can't rotate into us, can they? And that's how you need to be playing this. I don't think Pretty Savage are going to be playing the Orisa Sigma here. I think we're going to see a brawl mirror, or if not, like a brawl versus a 6-man maybe. But either way, it is that type of style where you're going to have to play like right up in their faces, and Lustrum have just done better at that throughout, because Pretty Savage, they did opt towards that kind of Orisa Sigma. Hints to me that maybe they're not confident playing fast.
Yeah, I mean, which is interesting, right? Given the comps we talked about, looks like we're going to move into it here. Pretty Savage did find success on the poke. That was the only time, at least this match so far, that they seem to have found a little bit of success. So we'll have to see if they come out on the poke, just to, like you said, maybe slow down, thinking that Lustrum has buried them in the fast game, thus far, but also to see if that's where they're going to try to replicate the success they had. Maybe not. I know we're early in composition here, but we're going to see Lostrum defense. There's the Ana, exactly like we expected. And we're just going to get a straight up kind of punch you in the face comp. I love this comp. It has a pretty defined and linear objective out of them. May for maybe a wall, for Brawl with the Reinzar. You know, McCree for stun because I did it. See, I knew I was going to do it. Cassidy, I should say. Cassidy for the stun. So you know, and can play Brawl and obviously maintain some high ground space, get some hit scan action, and it looks like we're gonna get an almost mirror with the exception of Notorious on the D.Va and Akaisha on the BAP. So again, let's see if we can't isolate the Ana diff.
Yeah, see, this is what I mean when I say like that subtle compositional difference. I said this in the pre-game, but it will come down to those kind of minor differences. Ninja Man on the Zarya wants to take a lot more of a slower pace, and that's an immediate wall that comes through, and a pin onto Zima, just taking him low right out of the key. But that's a nice counter wall, actually. Everyone on Pretty Savage keeping their cool, and they'll be re-engaging with that punch. I mean, look at them go. Lord Kama will end up falling to Jamal, but that does not matter when the rest of the team fight is being one dominant there.
Yeah, that was awesome. You know, it's almost like it was almost premeditated, right? You know, their Doom comes comes flying in, you know, and or Zima comes flying in, gets walled right away, but then Notorious went, whoop, it's almost like Notorious knew, went right up and over the wall, Lucio right up and over the wall, Baptiste right up and over the wall. It was like the wall didn't even exist. Because of they committed to the Ryan thinking they had a pick so much, pretty much locked in a nice counter wall, and it ended the fight for them. So really interesting, not how I expected.
Yeah, both of these Reinhardts just love pressing that shift key, apparently. Doomfist and Zima both ended up doing it there, but unfortunately, I think, for Doomfist, pin went a bit wide, didn't catch
Cart,
Zima,
what
so.
cart? Yeah. We don't need a cart, you know, like you said, shift into him. No one's on the cart. Zima's going to take a ton of space here. Look at this, and I mean the economy here. Ninja's gonna have grab coming into this next engagement, but Lord Kama is also gonna have the beat for the grab. So we'll see who's tracking ults. Here's the beat.
That's a nice. I mean, it was an attempt at a solo grab onto the Reinhardt, and the beat has to come through. But look at Doomfist with that nano boost straight in here. Drop the shatter as well. That is rancid coming through from Doomfist. That is just, I mean, that's an immediate team fight win, right? With that many ultimates.
Yeah, and they committed B to it too. That being said, I mean, they did use
attempted to stagger, but there's a 2K coming through with a remake, and now Pretty Savage, they're gonna re-engage Zima right in here, can drop the shatter if they really want to. Actually catches Matthias with that, and somehow the tides have turned.
Man,
they're on their back foot.
Oh, Notorious. That's when I guarantee a Notorious, the only person screaming louder than us is Notorious on that one. You know, and that's why it's in the game, right? That's the mechanic. We can't stagger the baby D.Va for too long anymore. You're gonna get punished. That was, I think, exactly what Blizzard had in mind, and we see it here in a playoff game. It was hilarious. That was awesome, and they've somehow managed to even out or almost flip the economy as well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Lustrum had to invest a lot into the previous fight, but now they've actually got another grab built up as well, so they do have a lot, well, on both sides here, I should say. Pretty Savage going to use that Ant Matrix very early on, but a Graviton Surge now, trying to isolate everyone, and that is a meaty anti-nade right into the thick of things. A bomb, actually, from Notorious might turn things, but no, it is just Doomfist and Matthias right in there, dealing all the damage, and that should just, you know, get the stabilization for them there as Sentai rounds off too as well.
Yeah, that's you know, that's the play-by-play mode where it's like, what do you call out, you know, when everyone presses Q at the same time? Yeah, for sure. You know, you saw the Blizzard, the bomb, you know, I do want to see some cooldown management in particular out of Lustrum a little better. You know, that's the second time they've grabbed with almost no regard for the immortality. Maybe it's intentional and they just don't care because they know they're going to drop 4 more ults, but I would like to see them kind of get a little smarter, maybe win some fights with only a couple ults, and they do retain the 3 ult advantage here.
Oh, but that's a lovely wall. It's going to catch out Doomfist, but they drop the shatter in retaliation. What on earth, the fearlessness of Doomfist right into their faces. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. This is an MTD right now.
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, I use the word bloodthirst to describe Doomfist, and you know, without knowing, I didn't know, you know, the full capacity. But I think bloodthirst is the word indeed. You know, we'd love to see it. I think that's probably if I had to count at this point in the game, he probably has 15 Earth Shatter knockdowns. So I mean, that is absolutely absurd, and you know he wants them, he's looking for them. But that being said, now Lustrum no ults on the, you know, opposed to the other side, Pretty Savage coming back, they basically have 5 ults. So we'll see if they can manage to not leak them all here. What I'd really love to see is a Blizzard, when the Reinhardt maybe drops the shield to move from the Blizzard, get a Shatter. That's all they need. They don't need to dump all of them, and they open with beat.
Yeah, I mean, that's at least going to be an aggressive beat, and Lexi from the side as well tries to catch the Lucio. Unfortunately, Jamal got out of the way, but it's not enough to save the rest of the team. That is, it's a lot of ultimates invested into that fight, but it does the trick. We'll say that much.
There was, yeah, and at least Zima managed to hold the Shatter. Zima did not go ahead and commit the Shatter, so they are going to retain 2 of their ults coming back on Bomb out of Notorious, but you know, I definitely think that, and it's to be expected. It's just a little leaky. I'd like to see it a little more premeditated, but you know, it certainly wins fights. And now we get to play the game on the other side, coming up on the 4 main ults on a Lustrum here as well. 5 if we count Nano.
It's like every other fight for each team is just a massive ultimate fight where they're just going to spam the Q button. And look at this rotation. This is unfractuous. They're coming right through main. Gets the Shatter onto 2. And the Graviton eats as well from Notorious. This is looking good right now for Pretty Savage. They're right up aggressive actually into the Zarya. I mean, Ninja Man did get a Nano, not able to do anything with it though, as that High Noon might actually catch a couple, but a little bit too late with the left click there. And this fight still rages on. I mean, that Lucio is feeding a little bit in front line. Lord Kama out of position. And now the pin from Doomfist right into their faces. What is going on here, coach?
Oh man, I mean, Pretty Savage not able to follow up on some of the kills. I love that, you know, Doomfist being hyper aggressive there, got shattered by Zima almost alone on the corner. You know, that's the live by the sword, die by the sword, right? Yeah. However, they get the shatter on Doomfist, they get the kill, then they just didn't roll through. They just stayed back. It's like they were aware of the space behind them or something. You know, we saw him trying to poke. I think Lustrum actually committed a couple panic ults, like the High Noon. They didn't have to do that. I would have loved to see Pretty Savage get aggressive, punish your picks, and they just didn't do it.
Well, talk about aggression. Doomfist has a Shatter this time around and can use it if they really want to. But Mad Booper on the flank actually can't keep the rest of their team alive, it appears. But unfortunately, won't be taken out. So Pretty Savage, they're going to come out on top. They're going to take out Doomfist. The Graviton Surge and Blizzard actually invested alongside a massive anti. Oh my lord, that is too much to deal with there for Pretty Savage. And despite that bomb and another remake, are you kidding me? Notorious round 3? Are they just going to come straight back into this? Zima's just going to pin out of spawn and look to aggress onto Ninja Man and Jamal, but are they going to be able to win this team fight out? I mean, Lustrum are backing up and waiting for reinforcements.
Yeah, pretty crazy. And looks like we're going to jump right to the next fight with another huge purple. Like, keep getting purple, make him commit the Immor. Looks like we get the Noon. And the Noon's going to take down Baptiste. We're going to get Sentai pushing through them. This is what I meant. They have to sweep the teams. We're going to see Lustrum. You see Lustrum really wanting to finish. When they get a couple kills, they push through them. They're going to try to make the kills all the way in. Look, Ninja's going to chase them all the way to the spawn. She wants that DMAC on the D.Va. They're going to end up backing up, but that's the commitment to wiping you have to have. And so far, we've really seen Lustrum as a whole, not just Doomfist, be the far more aggressive team.
Yeah, this tide is going back and forth, though, between these team fights. You have the Swash with Pretty Savage and the backwash with Lustrum, constantly in and out between the sides, but now it will be the Blizzard invested as well. So Graviton Surge from Ninja Man actually denies the value of the Blizzard ever so slightly. Sentai will still take out Vianu, but now a counter shatter from Zima will take 2 out of the fight. Lexi gets 2 with a High Noon. Third one as well onto Doomfist there with the Fan the Hammer. And they should just keep on pushing this one forward. A Blizzard in retaliation, and Matthias wants to turn things, and Ninja Man's in the back actually. Might be able to clean up here with that Zarya beam fully charged up and dealing the damage there on the high ground, but they're kind of isolated. They can't really get into position to do anything. They're going to take out Vianu though. Ninja Man is just getting kill after kill right now, going ham on the Zarya, and that should be the stabilization that you need from Lustrum.
It is. It's going to be the hold. You know, that, if for anyone counting there, that was 9 ults in that fight in total, and that was absolutely absurd. You know, I actually normally I would, you know, the coach in me shaking my head at Ninja Man where where they were being way out back there, but you know, that being said, I actually like the way they're kind of flirting with some of the back high grounds when they know that Zima has to be glued to the cart because of overtime. So it's almost like it's almost like Zarya kind of wagging their finger, Ninja wagging their finger at Zima, saying, "You can't come get me, and I know you can't. So I'm just gonna keep poking. I'm gonna generate a grab. My team's gonna crash into you from behind, and I'll just slip away in the night. I'll slide back through to my team and see if we can't get the re-engage." It turns out that they Lustrum did end up getting the hold. It end up working, but I think that this is just a battle of, it's almost a battle of let's see who can press Q more times on the certain point, as this elo tends to be, and that's all right. I think the team that kind of tightens down, and I think either team's capable, but I'd love to see a team really tighten down and kind of go ahead and generate some more discipline out of the ult control. And we see Lustrum, maybe it's just Spawn messing around, but if they actually roll with this comp, this could be really, really interesting, especially with Jarnu on the Mei into the ball, and we're not going to see the ball. They're going to rotate.
Oh yeah,
we're going to statue Telly. Let's see if they Telly right to the top of statue. Zima's going to not have a good time if that's what they end up doing.
The positioning of Pretty Savage, though, it kind of counters it, don't you think? Notorious and Lord Kama can just get up there and boop them off right as they TP. It's not a bad idea here. Now you'll get the TP coming through and the engage from main, but the Sigma might actually be a very very tender target, but Lexi's going to get taken down. So much damage coming through, as well as that anti from Mad Booper. And yeah, that was pretty good execution, and it's pretty bad preparation, I'd say, from Pretty Savage.
Yeah, it's hard to yell at Pretty Savage for poor preparation, because how often in a competitive game are we actually TPing a Bastion to statue head? It was awesome.
More times than you'd think.
More times, yeah. Well, we'd love to see it, right? We'd love to see it. It was a great play. I love the creep. I definitely do think that it's kind of like at this elo, you need the quick engagement. Like you said, it could have potentially been countered, but they need to recognize it's happening immediately and get on it. Otherwise, it's going to look exactly like what we just saw, which was a dominating fight.
And this TP as well, look at how much space this takes. I mean, they're just combinatory on that high ground. They might even set the Bastion up there if they want to. It's not a bad idea, but I think they'll just keep the Bastion on the cart.
Yeah, I think the intention is leave Bastion on the cart, make a pseudo pirate ship with the double shield.
What is this rotation, though?
Yeah, it's interesting all the way around. They're gonna punish from behind. I actually don't hate it.
Wait, the cart's just gonna go past, though.
If they're gonna get a high ground engagement, yeah, I don't love this.
Okay, well, it's absolute anarchy on the point right now as that anti comes through. Acacia and Zima caught by that, and Matthias and Mad Booper, they'll follow up on it. They know what they're doing. Doomfist as well, just swinging around freely. I mean, Pretty Savage, that was not the engage you needed. They had so much space to cover, and that was not the way to do it.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the dropping. They know they have the Bastion on cart. I also think Pretty Savage needs to make some compositional rotation, right? I mean, I know they have some economy, but they have to do something. Bring out that Sombra again. If they want to engage, they should engage quick and tight on the Bastion. Stop the card's progress and kill the Bastion first. Regardless, they need to make some changes. They're kind of just running back the same thing and expecting different results.
Yeah, and Sentai's coming up towards this tank configuration as well. As could it be a big, as we'll see that in combination with the Gravitic Flux. There's going to be a lot of damage coming through here as a Shatter comes through from Doomfist. Lands onto a couple, and Sentai will be there on the high ground to actually follow up onto Acacia. But the Reinhards are just going at each other's necks right now. It will be Zima that gets the worst end of that, however. As a bomb actually in retaliation, Notorious tries to turn things. Unfortunately, just not enough for them. This will be a cap onto second point as well, and Lustrum have a, well, let's just say a lustrous time bank to go with it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Matthias had to love the bomb there. They commit wall, which is Lustrum's best ult. They commit wall towards the middle of the fight, even after Sentai had a couple picks. I was kind of cringing at that, but then right after, Notorious sends the bomb, and they're still cleaning up. They push forward to get the re-engagers. They're gonna create some massive staggers here. They've teleported Sentai to the top. He's gonna hold. He's going to hold high ground and just kind of camp out Lexi on Cassidy out in the back, to effectively shutting him down. And meanwhile, the cart moves. The cart moves. But yeah, definitely some more engagements. Again, we see no changes for Pretty Savage.
Doomfist? I mean, this could work. I don't
for the
think
flag
Pretty Savage. I think Pretty Savage will die to Sentai before Doomfist can even get the Shatter off. We'll end up seeing, actually, this is it.
Oh,
here
my
we
God.
go. One Shatter catches two. Anti-nade in there as well. Mad Booper taking a piece of the fame. A nice high noon from Lexi, but it's not going to do enough. And Lostrum will take the second map with just some wacky compositions there.
Man,
I mean, what was that?
That was wacky, but also, it's actually fairly well staged. I'm not a fan of the flank shatter, but at higher elos, not around here, one thing we talk about all the time is called kill box theory, and that's basically, we talk a lot in Overwatch about how the more aggressive team wins. We've seen that here. I like to say when I'm coaching even higher level teams that it's not the more aggressive team, but it's the team that is able to dictate engagements. I think clearly here, Lustrum's been able to dictate the engagements, but when you dictate engagements into a specific zone of the map, or you centralize firepower into a specific zone, we call it a kill box. So right there, if you think about it, we had Bastion on high ground, the Ana on the other high ground, and the Ryan with the flank shatter. So once they move into the box, if you will, we get the shatter, the immediate purple, and then like you said, you got Sentai, no one's even checking him at that point, even if 2 or 3 have been shattered, he's going to pour in massive damage, not to mention the Ryan's coming out behind, and the Ana's still on high ground to support the Ryan down low. That was a perfect execution of creating a zone where they wanted everything to die. They happened to have the ults and the economy and the resources and the time advantage to do it, because it kind of forced, Pretty Savage just walk straight onto the point because they had to contest. But that was actually really remarkably well set up. You have to wonder, Lustrum looking pretty practiced on that comp. I wonder if we see Payload if, again, at some point here that that's not going to be the last time we see the pseudo pirate ship on a Lustrum.
Yeah, absolutely, and you learn something new every day. I didn't even know what killbox theory was, so now I know. You're not called Coach Kirby for no reason, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sure if that was exactly Lustrum's plan, but it worked out. Hey, I mean, it worked out like you said it would. You had the shatter, you had the Bastion from the high ground. It really works well on that third point because of just how many off angles you can take, right? You can take in the left side room, you can take the top left high ground, right side high ground, main. There's like so many angles to take there if you're playing that composition. It just really, there's nothing Pretty Savage can do. I feel bad for them at this point, to be honest. But going on to Route 66, it should be a bit easier for them to counter wacky stuff like that if it comes out again.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, right? So it's funny you mentioned that. You mentioned all the off angles. There's conventionally 3 main lanes in Overwatch that we talk about, which is main or default, high ground, and then flank. They certainly had some interesting picks. Bastion on the high ground, usually that'd be a hit scan. Reinhardt on the flank, normally that would be obviously a flanker. And then our main, we actually had the Ana and the rest of the team on support. So, Killbox theory is created best when you collapse all 3 lanes onto a single point, or multiple lanes onto a single point. They did that, I think, to your point, inadvertently, right? It just worked out for them. And putting tank on flank and Bastion on high ground lane, maybe not exactly the way it was drawn up, but it worked like a charm. It worked flawlessly. And Route 66, a little more linear of a map, but definitely can maintain some of those same angles. When you start perceiving Overwatch as kind of having those 3 lanes, you start to notice, oh wow, it's almost like the maps are designed to provide these 3 lanes, high grounds everywhere, then you have flanks everywhere, and then main. So if Lustrum can continue to control all 3 lanes, it's lights out for Pretty Savage.
Absolutely. I mean, that's just a lot of analytics there from Kobe that my small brain can't understand. But while we wait for the teams to get ready for the next game, we're going into a bit of a break here. Don't go anywhere. 5 minutes until we see what will happen on Route 66.
Can't wait.
They did find Cucumber, but he's going to lift him.
Oh, Vulcan gets caught right into that, and Speedy's going to be able to follow up. Talking about jumping over to the Doofus, talking about playing into the Doofus.
A manos de la bola. Ya son 3 las picks que conseguía el equipo de British Hurricane.
We need your help to decide our opinion outpost MVP of the match.
He's got a minute to kind of work some sort of pick against this Doc, and oh my good lord, they just got eviscerated.
Oh! He's not dead! Hey, now he's dead!
Holy cow, I've never seen someone get so aggressive.
Oh, catches their opponent outside of the building, and that is it.
It's Rocket League Wednesday on the High School Esports League home room. I am, as the kids say, vibing right now. This is just fumes for them, while Pharaoh rips shot after shot after shot of the back of them.
Good wall towards site, but it's already been broken, so they can't even get that spike down trustedly. Camera over towards site, and again, it's getting all that information. Heatbot going absolutely massive!
Here in this map number 4 season, up on championship point, being up 2-1. Nifty dropped down to 19 HP. Joker with his M13 in hand is just trying to hold the angles.
my thoughts, standing on the edge of my time. Everything I know will be gone in a minute, and that's alright. Running through the last of my thoughts, standing on the edge of my time. Everything I know will be gone in a minute, and that's alright. Alright, 'cause I'm free. I'm freer than I've ever been before. Yeah, baby, I'm free. I'm freer than I've ever been before. Alright, 'cause I'm free. I'm freer than I've ever been before. Yeah, baby, I'm free. I'm freer than I've ever been before. Running through the last of my thoughts, standing on the edge of my time. Everything I know will be gone in a minute, and that's alright. Running through the last of my thoughts.
They did find Cucumber, but he's gonna lift him.
Oh, Vulcan gets caught right into that, and Speed is going to be
Oh,
able to follow
no.
up. Tactical
You let
jumping
him
over to
do.
the Doofus, talking about playing into the
A
Doofus.
manos de la bola. Ya son 3 las picks que conseguía el equipo de British Hurricane.
We need your help to decide our opinion outpost MVP of the match.
He's got a minute to kind of work some sort of pick against this Doc, and oh my good lord, they just got eviscerated.
Oh! He's not dead! Hey, now he's dead!
Holy cow, I've never seen someone get so aggressive.
Oh, catches their opponent outside of the building, and that is it.
It's Rocket League Wednesday on the High School Esports League home room. I am, as the kids say, vibing right now. This is just fumes for them, while Pharaoh rips shot after shot after shot of the back then.
Good wall towards site, but it's already been broken, so they can't even get that spike down trustedly. Camera over towards site, and again, it's getting all that information. He-Bot going absolutely massive!
Here in this map number 4 season, up on championship point, being up 2-1. Nifty dropped down to 19 HP. Joker with his M13 in hand is just trying to hold the angles.
Healing that's coming out from them, and then the Ana goes down after that, and it was just quick cleanup. Resignations and Witty Wave really clutching out in the DPS department for SM, and they've got first capture crossing 15%. Ultimate's coming up online already. You're going to have Deadeye, and look, we've got Grab Dragons available for that test.
Oh, they're gonna waste no time in committing it. The Graviton comes out. But it's not gonna get any.
So excited! Thank you so much, Sidebjorn. Living up to the beautiful strats from Roar Esports. They're gonna go ahead and teleport directly onto the point, so they will be meeting them tantamount.
Nothing to try and eat it with, nothing to stave it off, no support ultimates. They've got a shatter. It might just have to be put in to keep the Bastion ult, but they don't care about this Bastion ult. They've got a Batiste!
Oh man, this is just nutty right now.
This is not something that you want to push in on, but it's going to be the bomb and the charge into Mansion Blix at 3! All of the 3 that you want, the Reinhardt, both of the supports, and this is the fight done already. Frost Dragon
comes.
It does pull out the Transcendence, but the anti-mid gets...
And here comes back on the Doofus, not hacked up by the EMP critically. Starjummer has the Deadeye, no hack this time around. Starjummer gonna clean up the fight, get 3, get the electric cowboy, we're dancing a fast.
This might be the best map for that in all of Overwatch, as we see the hook shot and the
Bane with the silk thread shot, show it off.
Isn't gonna work really well against the Ghost Comp. Far as finding people yeah, but you're not gonna get through this
I love watching teams that I haven't seen play before play. It's always thrilling.
It really is. It's wild cards. It's something you don't get to see at the higher levels. Everybody's at least been seen usually at lower level matches. So this is always a fun experience.
Welcome back, everybody, to the GitGud EU broadcast. Once again, it is I, Toasty, going to be joined here by Coach Kobe for our second half of the Lustrum versus a Pretty Savage game. And this one has been a little bit one-sided so far, Kobe, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would. And I think we've seen some pretty dominant play out of specific groups of players too. I was really looking for some specific elements to hopefully turn the game into, maybe slow down the game in Kings Row compared to what we saw in Nepal, and it just didn't happen, right? We still kind of had both teams, and we saw Pretty Savage try to get squirrely once with the outback engagement to try to slow down the game, but at the end of the day, it's just been smashing into each other with Maywalls and about 100,000 ults, I think, or something like that per fight we see, and I've mentioned it before. Especially as we move into kind of the slower map types or the slower games, I really want to see some discipline, out of cooldown management and ult management. Right now, Lustrum is kind of dominating on all fronts. Frankly, they're winning up front. Their supports are winning. They're maybe with the exception of Notorious, their tank play, their off tank play, I think has been stellar, kind of enabling some of the crazy aggression of Doomfist, which is awesome to watch. But I really think that Pretty Savage has got to try to find a chink in the armor, and then just chip away.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lustrum's chink in the armor could be that ultimate usage, right? We talk about how they need to be more disciplined and how they're just throwing like 4 ults at a fight and then being kind of screwed for the next one, essentially. And I completely agree, right? It just seems like they'll throw in like a nano, and then once that nano doesn't work, they'll be like, okay, here's a graviton surge, and then an anti-nade to follow it, and then once they use that, they'll use a high noon to kill the remaining 2 people. Like it's they're throwing in a lot of unnecessary ultimates when that team fight, for example, like I just mentioned, that could have just been nano plus grav. It could have literally just been that.
Yep. Yeah, the word is leaky for sure. It's a little leaky. With this elo, you're not getting the tremendous amount of really precise focus fire to finish the fights as quickly as maybe you see, watching like Owl or watching some higher tier teams. But still, the fight's over. If you've killed 3, you don't need to commit the rest of it. So, we'll have to see it moving forward how it shapes up. But I'm with you. I think that the chink in the armor could also be that aggression. I said it before: live by the sword and die by the sword. So. Maybe if Pretty Savage figures out how to facilitate them dying by the sword a little more, that could be their undoing as well.
Yeah, and we've seen it a couple times as well, right? Where Lustrum have gone a little bit too aggressive in some engagements. Doomfist maybe charging in a little bit too haphazardly as Reinhardt.
Unpunished, though.
Yeah, and there's also like the whole like positional aspect of it as well, where sometimes I think for Lustrum we saw the DPS or the supports just like a little bit too far past the Rhine shield, taken down by a couple stray headshots. It's things like that, right? Where I think Pretty Savage I think it's target focus. I think if they just focus on the kind of the aspects of the composition that become a lot more tender, while there's that aggression going on, then they'll be able to take control of the team fight, be able to get a couple more kills. Even if it's a scrappy team fight where they're trading out a couple kills for a couple kills, I think that benefits Pretty Savage because they're good when they have stability.
Yeah, they are. And I think especially now that we're coming up on our next map here, which is going to be Route 66, especially on defense. But I think Pretty Savage, it should be pretty clear to them by now they want to keep their distance, or they want to kind of facilitate some distance as much as possible. I would say give Doomfist the rope to get too aggressive and then get punished. Give him the space, make him have to come all the way into you. Meanwhile, taking fire from an Orisa, a BAP, a Sigma, a McCree, a Cassie. Again, I'm 0 for 2. I'm 0 for 2.
Yeah.
But, it's all right. I'll get it. But
That's fine.
You really want Doofus to have to come forward. And the only time they found success so far in the match is when they have maintained that space. So I think they need to do their best to create that. If they, like you said, target focus on the poke, keep a little bit of space, and deny some of those lanes we talked about last map, or deny some format of space control to Lustrum, they could really put Lustrum on their heels.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen it happen a couple times as well, where they have put Lustrum packing, essentially. So we'll end up seeing a bit of a different composition here for Lustrum, in fact. Doomfist going to be on the Orisa, so can't, you know, press that shift key and int, basically, on that horse hero. But instead, we'll see Sentai and Matthias on Torb Ash. So this is a very spammy anti-dive composition, and look at what Pretty Savage is playing.
I have to say, I am a big fan of Lustrum's comps. So far, you know, I always talk, one thing I talk about at a very basic level, especially with this level of teams I coach, is make sure your comps have a clear objective. All of Lustrum's comp have a very clear objective. And this is, we're going to sit back, we're going to stand, we're going to leverage our shields and our boosts, and we're going to apply massive damage from mid-range. You know, on the other hand, look at Pretty Savage, I see a little bit of dive, a little bit of poke, you know, not quite sure. Oh, we are going to flip to more of a full dive. That makes me happy.
On his Zen, though.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, that's not super bad. The Discord could be great with the Winston. We'll see it. We'll see if Lustrum can isolate the Zen, because that's my only concern.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely possible. You can blow up a Zen in a couple of shots here with this composition. It's going to be difficult to get into position for Pretty Savage, especially if you want to get the Discords onto the targets through with, like, 2 shields. It's going to be hard, let's say that much, as Lexi actually caught out in the back there, so it's a translocate away. Can't quite set up a dive engage just yet, as Notorious a little bit out of position. Not quite what you want on your engage, as Zima looks for a jump, can't quite get in, though, and they're pushing the payload, so Lustrum are going to have to maybe drop or contest that at some point. But looking to get that pull onto the Zenyatta, though, and Lexi ends up falling, so there's still a player down here for Pretty Savage, but they are pushing this payload. Now that engage comes through, a nice anti onto the Mercy, but no follow-up whatsoever. A remech kill, well, not even a kill. It takes up the Immortality field. I mean, Notorious doesn't get much of that.
Extremely well played by Lustrum. You know, I'm continually impressed. We talked about discipline. What they just did requires massive discipline, which is let them move the car. It's okay. It's okay. Let them push it around. We're going to hold our high ground. We're going to continue our output. We're going to continue pokes. Once we have 2 or 3 picks, we're going to engage. But I don't know if you noticed. Did you see where Sentai had the Torb turret? It's behind the sign. It got very little value from actually poking the main fight. It's almost like they knew that Pretty Savage was going to come out in a dive, and they wanted, like, look where the turret is. They wanted the turret there to only deny when someone challenges them on a dive. It's almost like they've done some scouting or some homework, but I really like the discipline to stay on high ground and kind of just try to poke out Pretty Savage's team, especially given Pretty Savage's kind of, I don't want to say suboptimal, you know, composition, but that's effectively what it is. So, you know, again, we're seeing Pretty Savage maybe have to make some switches here, or maybe have to figure some stuff out. But if Lustrum holds this high ground, it's very difficult for them to retake.
Yeah, the Hanzo here baffles me. I mean, Lexi's just going to get forced out from the off angle by Ninja Man from a Sigma, right? I mean, that's kind of their job. As the engage does end up coming through there. A nice Gravitic Fox actually forces out the Transcendence, so an ultimate for an ultimate, an eye for an eye, and Zima's going to go down quite low here. Has to try and facilitate a dive, but now this core multi-core comes through. A pulse bomb, though, into the back. Yanu gets to do with that one. And that should end off the team fight if I didn't know any better, but Doomfist and Matthias are coming back with kills. The Bob on the cart doing a little bit of damage, but not enough to turn things around.
Yeah, for sure. It was just too little too late. You know, I didn't see how, you know, how quickly Lexi ended up committing the or sorry, Matthias rather ended up committing the Bob to the fight after the pulse bomb. Just a massive pulse bomb to create the imbalance. Pretty Savage did get more of the engagement they wanted that time. They kind of fought all up on the roof all together. It was a little more madness than just the monkey jumping in, getting burned down, and so on and so forth. So, like, there we go. We'll see. Zima jumps in alone. You know, Zima could get punished for that unless he has the follow-up. Those dives have to be staged.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at Bajanu, I mean, just in the back. He gets taken down by a Torb turret, in fact, of all things. And this Primal Rage trying to batter around Matthias, being kept alive by their support. And Lustrum are looking pretty stable here. Low, Zima almost gets taken down there, and Pretty Savage forced back from that dive. They're on low ground now, low. Lustrum have to try and be careful not to let this low ground disadvantage get to them. As Lexi has a Dragon Strike they can use, but Matthias hits a shot onto Hikaisha, and that should be the winning pick, really. But this Dragon Strike's still there, forces the Immortality field, and what a flick shot. Lexi digs out Matthias and still turns the fight into their favor potentially, but they're going to get taken down here. It looks like by Ninja Man all over the place right now is that Diva, here, there, and everywhere. Sentai still gets taken down. Again, it's just a long-winded, scrappy fight. A Pretty Savage eventually win it out in the end there because their composition gets back quicker.
Yeah, and I mean that's also what dive is meant to do, right? Is you want dive to create these weird, staggered, you know, somewhat chaotic engagements. But the major thing about dive is once you're in, you have to focus, you know, and that we're not necessarily seeing that. I think it's really interesting. Lustrum chose the low ground here. We're gonna re-engage right away.
Yeah, that is just so much damage coming through from the Winston here, right into the thick of things. And Zima might actually get caught out, but no, there's not enough damage coming in. Now Zima's going to get taken down as well as Vajano, so it is still looking winnable here for Lustrum. A bomb is going to be invested there by Pretty Savage to force everyone back, and no one going to be able to touch the cart here for Lustrum. So yeah, nice bomb there. Actually allows that cap to come through.
I love that. That's using bomb how it's meant to be, which is a zoning ult. And it looks like the fight's going to rage on here, even though they have the cap. Not loving this from Lustrum. They need to back up and get some reestablishment. Whenever they're trying these fast recontests that maybe worked in the last map, it seems like they're kind of, I don't want to say falling apart, but this is exactly what we meant when we said Pretty Savage could really come back at them and put them on their heels a bit. It's pretty clear to me that Lustrum is, you know, not really knowing where to engage. Their lines are not as smooth. And there we go. We're going to see him finally back out. Matthias still up there, gets a pick, but, you know, Pretty Savage needs to keep their foot in the pedal.
Yeah, and look at how scattered they all are as well. Now they're kind of having to play on this low ground with Primal Rage can bat them around, and Matthias has to use the Bob to try and get some presence in the team fight as they fall to Vajano. And there are a lot of ultimates Pretty Savage could use here. They've already used a couple, but that Buzz Bomb comes in, doesn't catch anything though. As now it'll be Lord Kama and Hikaisha that go down. And a need onto the Dragon Strike as well, so 5 ultimates invested that by Pretty Savage and nothing gained. A comp swap, I think, is what they need now.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if you saw Ninja Man eating the dragon out of Lexi
Yep.
for the huge zone, and you know, the trance, I think kind of it looked to me like, you know, Zima's engagement on Monkey there, he was in very deep, forced Kama to use the trance a little bit early, which in turn allowed Doomfist to drop Bongo midway through or after trance, which just applied too much damage that they really would have liked to have had the trance for. We're gonna see him engage quick here, but switching back more to that kind of brawl comp we saw before.
Yeah, absolutely, and a nice wall actually will segment a couple of people off as that bomb actually could wreak havoc. There it goes, Notorious right in there, 3 kills to their name, and they're just going to start rolling this payload forward now. That's the momentum that you need.
That was huge. Matthias a little out of position there, got kind of caught out off to the side, trying to get some big dynamites. Matthias just got to keep the high ground out back and just poke. We're going to see Lustrum rotate to the brawl. We're going for an all-out rumble here on the last point.
Yeah, and the nano boost could actually be big from Hikaisha now, but unfortunately just not there in time. As this pick's going either side here, to be fair, but the defense will be the one pressing forward. Sentai hits that shot onto Vajano. And now 50 seconds remaining, and maybe some extra stagger kills. Yeah, there we go. This is looking good for Lustrum now.
You have to love it. Lustrum said, "Oh, you want to brawl? Hey, we do that. Remember?"
Yeah.
And they switched right back to their brawl team, their brawl comp, and just decisive victory right away. You know, so I really think that maybe the brawl on brawl switch, kind of going back to what's the home for this elo. I'm not sure that was the best decision. You know, I get they tried to mix it up, but I don't know that I would have given Lustrum the home court, if you will.
Yeah, and that was an interesting pin there from Doomfist, as this Reaper in the backline doing a lot of damage to Hikaisha, forcing out the cooldowns. And now Zima's going to fall as well. Sentai getting that first pick that is so crucial because there's 10 seconds remaining. And no one from Pretty Savage looks like they're able to get into position to touch here. It might have to be Lord Kama or the Diva. It looks like Notorious will get into position for that. But Sentai has this high noon, lays it down onto 2, hitting them, the skulls ring true. And Ninja Man gets a Graviton 2 Graviton Surge kills, actually. There's a lot of weird off-tank kills coming through today, I'll tell you that much, but nice stabilization at the end there from Lustrum.
Big time. And Doomfist just super enabled by Mad Booper. You know, Doomfist is fully out in the you know, I'll use the words getting squirrely again. That's full blown Doomfist, as he's way out of sync, and Mad Booper, you know, Mad Booper's like, you know, I can hear the Mad Booper screaming, Doom, Doom, you know, because he's way out, LOS, but he's really facilitated. You know, he, like you said, an interesting pin, didn't get punished, was able to back up to the team with the assistance of Mad Booper. But, you know, the other thing is Ninja Man just rose the Grav, makes the switch to Zarya, comes out, Grav right away. You know, basically played half a fight, was 80% to Grav there. You know, ended up getting 2 with the Graviton. It was huge. We'll see how they play this one, but, you know, I don't think Pretty Savage wants to challenge them to brawl.
You say that, I mean, look at what they're coming out on. They might be going for a spawn camp strat here.
I love it. Again, we talked about objectives in compositions. Look at how clean the dive is, right? We have Winston, D.Va, we have Genji, obviously. I think Matthias is going to play a great Genji, and then Sentai on the Sombra, which will be really interesting to see what they're targeting first with the hack. And then we have Mad Booper on the Ana. We know that's Mad Booper's home. Can stay out back and kind of support the dive. And Lucio's kind of in there, can be in there as well. Can kind of either dive or kind of hang out with the tanks. But overall, if Lustrum dives together, like I think they will, I think that it could be, again, ugly for Pretty Savage. We're going to stack trailer.
Lustrum, yeah, I mean, Lustrum are playing a composition where they can get blown up by the Reaper, by the Junkrat, but Lexi getting hacked up does not make things easy whatsoever for Pretty Savage. Matthias right in there, taking a couple, well, I say a couple, one person down, and two actually, yeah, so there we go, it rings true. And this should be a scrappy fight that benefits Lustrum because they have the quicker spawns. It's just about buying time now for Pretty Savage as Zima goes down quite low. Gonna pin Doomfist off the map in fact. And yeah, Lustrum are gonna get things rolling here.
Yeah, and Sombra with some calculated hacks to that fight too, just makes it, you know, makes it even. Sentai just really going nuts, just makes it, even balances it even further. Matthias does make the rotation to the Reaper there, and here we go. We'll see where they're gonna stage for their re-engagement here. Interesting to see Ninja Man kind of take the main tank slot from Doomfist as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's quite interesting. I think it's probably because maybe Doomfist isn't quite confident on the monkey. We never know, but either way, look at this aggression. Pretty Savage right up into thicker things, but a rotation back from Lustrum means that they'll be safe and sound. Zima actually gets slapped up here as well as a huge anti-nade. Lexi and Notorious caught by that one, and Ninja's right in there with the nano boost, dealing all the damage with that taser cannon. So much cleave, and yeah, they'll just keep on rolling this cart forward.
Yeah, they do, and I mean they're gonna obviously win this fight here, and I think, you know, they're committing some big things. They're committing some criminal mistakes here in the sense that, you know, I was just gonna yell at Lustrum because we talked about how the team that creates the engagement wins. Well, that's why Dive is so successful as a comp, right? It's literally built to dictate the engagement. Oh, Lexi's gonna get a pick on Lucio here. It's gonna force him to back out, but just in general, they didn't dive that last fight. They let Pretty Savage come to them, and they still ended up winning.
Yeah, and they do the exact same thing here. They're going to go for the EMP Death Blossom. Matthias, the damage coming in, and Lord Kama just a little bit too late with that defeat. I mean, look at Notorious. They had the beat health, and then it was gone in the next instant. The tire will actually come through. Jono wants to maybe turn this around, going for the supports in the back. Man Booper and Jamal gonna fall. Ninja Man with the Primal Rage looking to turn things, and Matthias is also there. So it does look as if Lustrum will at least come back into things and be winning out this team fight. Pretty Savage made that one close.
They did. Oh, we get a Blossom again out of it. We see. Yeah, it's gonna be over. Sentai is doing way too much here. You know, that's. When I say by doing way too much, it's literally by existing on Sombra. You know, when I mentioned that they won last time, you know, I obviously kind of gave it to you for the fight, but the way they're doing that is Sentai is just unbothered. They're letting Sentai poke the edges of the fight, hack random people, put a bunch of burst damage in, walk around, hack someone else, put more damage in, just basically shutting down one hero at a time from the fight, and they can't allow that to happen. If Sombra gets a hack, it's effectively a 5.5 v6 to start. They do get Matthias here to start the fight, though. Not sure if we lost you here or not, but we're going to move right into the next engagement. We're going to see a huge beat come out. Ninja Man's going to get the pick. Even sure if you guys can hear me at this point. We are going to move right into another engagement. It looks like Lustrum still dominating. Ninja Man takes out Sentai, still poking the edges of these fights, and these huge antis. Going to go ahead and row, and another EMP. EMP coming out right away. Yeah, let's see if they set up the EMP bomb. One of the most lethal combinations in Overwatch, if we can make it work. We'll have to see if they're able to stage it. And we are going to go to a pause, looks like, while we try to get Toasty back. Bear with us here, please. All right, looks like we are going to unpause. Toasty should be coming back just in a second here. Looks like we are going to keep rolling, but now that that fight's over, we'd obviously never want to pause during a fight of a match. We don't want to do anything with the cast that could interfere with the results of the match. So we're going to roll right through point 2 here. Toasty should be back in a few minutes. We'll see how we go. We'll try to do this solo, try to fly solo until he does come back. That's not a big deal. All right, we are going to go just to a quickly, just another pause here. Apologize for the audience to any inconvenience here. Looks like Toasty had a little bit of a power outage situation. So it looks like Toasty had a power outage, unexpected. So we'll go ahead and keep rolling. And then, we'll try to do both. I'll try to fast color a little bit as much as I can. I'm not a play-by-play caster. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, looking for this next engagement after the unpause here. You have to always wonder how these pauses kind of affect the flow of the game. So we see a ton of ults on Pretty Savage's side. They're ready to go. They got 5 ults. Lexi just switched, it looks like, back to the McCree. But it doesn't matter how many ults they have if Sentai gets off a big EMP. A really strong EMP bomb out of Lustrum for this next fight might just do the trick before any ults are fidged, and at least be able to walk them pretty close to the end line. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. We got 5 ults versus 2 coming up. Ninja is going to be coming up on Primal as well. They are going to seek to engage. We'll see who ends up on cart. We'll see if Mad Booper takes an off angle on cart or kind of stays as kind of pushing the cart. They do get the wipe, so I would be really interested to see the way you should do EMP bombs. For those of you that have never, looks like we are going to get the unpause and roll here. The EMP bomb is we should see the bomb come in first, but settled by Sentai getting in position. Maybe that's exactly what's happening here. We're going to go live with Sentai, see if we can't get Sentai kind of settling into position while we kind of stage Doomfist ready to send the bomb. Looks like they're going to engage from the room. I don't know if that's how we want to do it, and it is going to be Mad Booper pushing the cart. We open with Tire from Jarnu. Jarnu in. Looks like we're not going to get anything right away with the Immor. We're going to kind of fight guys. Oh, disregard. The Tire gets 2, taking out Ninjaman and Sentai. There goes the EMP bomb strat. This is where Pretty Savage needs to get aggressive and go through and clean them up. Looks like they're not. They're just going to take the fight win. Lustrum's going to back all the way out. They're going to reestablish. Pretty Savage committed 2 ults there. There's that discipline we've been talking about. They were able to actually use only 2 of their ults instead of committing all of them at once. Here's the bomb. We see if we get the EMP. Oh, but it doesn't work. Yeah, I think that was a little rush. They got a huge purple, but they were able to hide it on the corner. A big anti comes in by Mad Booper. Matthias, and we see another bomb out of Notorious. That takes out the Ana, but it's just too little too late. Lustrum, the damage is done. Matthias and Ninja getting in. We're going to clean up the Junkrat here, clean up Jarnu, and Lustrum's going to roll with a team kill. They're going to have beat for the last fight, so we'll have to see, without a Ryan to block Zima's Shatter, we'll see if Matthias has another Blossom in time, but the Shatter could be huge. We're looking for Lord Kama to hold beat. Never mind, he's going to open with beat. We'll see if we get a huge Shatter for the engagement. I don't know if that's necessarily what I would have done. We're going to see the beat out of Lustrum to counter the Shatter, but the purple's in. We get the Maywall out. It's just utter chaos on point. Looks like Matthias going in, doing what he can. He wants it, and the Blossom immediately off cooldown. Gets the Baptiste, which is enormous. No immortality. Lustrum's going to roll it through here. It looks like if we can clean up this Lucio fast enough, and the May, it looks like if we can get these cleanups, that's going to be the end of map 3. But we do have D.Va recontest. We're going to stagger back in. Oh, and a huge boop. A huge boop out of Ninja Man. Or actually, I believe that was Doomfist of the D.Va. A huge boop out of Doomfist of the D.Va. Knocks Notorious off course so that they're unable to get the contest. Lustrum is going to take map 3 pretty decisively yet again. So far dominating. And I think what we're really seeing here is just clarity of composition. Compositions with a very clear objective. They seek out the one thing and a huge bomb for the 3-piece. We love it. And they might get the cleanup here. They do. Lexi actually helped out there. But, just clarity of composition, clarity of intention. And the second they're able to execute those comps, they set objectives, they build comps around the objectives, and then they execute towards them. Them being able to consistently do that map over map, whether it's dive, whether it's brawl, whether it's poke, is really just showing a consistent advantage. Really, my hat's off to Lustrum. Absolutely great engagements and compositions, and really they appear to be very well coached, or at least very well disciplined in their compositions. And this is where you can win games with the character select screen. comp theory is such a huge piece of the game, and they're really killing it. So we're gonna see if I think we can't get Toasty back here. I'm gonna throw to just a quick break, really quickly, to see if we can't get Toasty, and then we'll come back with the next match.
Healing that's coming up from them, and then the Ana goes down after that, and it was just quick cleanup. Resignations and Witty really clutching out in the DPS department for SM, and they've got first capture crossing 15%. Ultimate's coming up online already. You're going to have Deadeye, and look, we've got Grab Dragons available for SM.
Oh, and they're going to waste no time in committing it. The Graviton comes out. It was there, but it's not going to get any. Oh, excited. Thank you so much, Sidebjorn. Living up to the beautiful strats from More Esports. They're gonna go ahead and teleport directly onto the point, so they will be meeting them tantamount.
Nothing to try and eat it with, nothing to stave it off, no support ultimates. They've got a shatter. It might just have to be put in to keep the Bastion off, but they don't care about this Bastion ult. They've got a Batiste!
Oh man, this is just nutty right now.
This is not something that you want to push in on, but it's going to be the bomb and the charge into Mansion Blix at 3! All of the 3 that you want, the Reinhardt, both of the supports, and this is the fight done already. Frost Dragon
comes.
It does pull out the Transcendence, but the anti-nade gets...
And here comes back on the Doomfist, not hacked up by the EMP critically. Starjummer has the Deadeye, no hack this time around. Starjummer gonna clean up the fight, get 3, get the electric cowboy for dancing effect.
This might be the best map for that in all of Overwatch, as we see the whole shot and the headshot.
Bane with the silk thread shot, show it off.
Isn't gonna work well against the Ghost Confar as fine the but you're not gonna get through this.
I love watching teams that I haven't seen play before play. It's always thrilling.
Round 1.
It really is. It's wild cards. It's something you don't get to see at the higher levels. Everybody's at least been seen usually at lower level matches. So this is always a fun experience.
There you go again, looking so handsome. Oh, you have your way, and it's making me weaken. You and your stylist, walking like that. It's really getting too much, but I can't pull back. Though I try to resist, I can't fight this. And no one makes me feel like you do. And no one sets my body on fire. And no one gives me shivers like you. Oh, no one does it better. How I try to sleep, but you're deep in my mind. Got a hold of me. When I'm awake, I'm all blind. You and your magic, like infinite power. God knows I try to resist, but you're pulling me closer. Oh, I gotta stay away, but you won't let me. No one makes me feel like you do. And no one sets my body on fire. And no one gives me shivers like you. Oh, no one does it better. And no one makes me feel like you do. And no one sets my body on fire. No one gives me shivers like you. Oh, no one does it got me upside down, spinning around you. Wanna taste the clouds, dance with the moon. Take a trip around your body. Boy, I love the way you got me. Starry-eyed, got me starry-eyed. Losing all my focus, I can't even control it. You know your lips are golden, baby, get me high. Touching me like light.
They did find Cucumber, but he's gonna lift him.
Oh, Wolfgang gets caught right into that, and Speed is going to be
Oh,
able to follow
no.
up. Talk
You
about
let
jumping
him
over to the
do.
Doofus, talking about playing into the
A
Doofus.
manos de la bola. Va, ya son 3 las picks que conseguía el equipo de British Hurricane.
We need your help to decide our opinion outpost MVP of the match.
He's got a minute to kind of work some sort of pick against this Doc, and oh my good lord, he just got eviscerated. Oh!
He's not dead! Hey, now he's dead!
Holy cow, I've never seen someone get so aggressive.
Oh, catches their opponent outside of the building, and that is it.
It's Rocket League Wednesday on the High School Esports League home room. I am, as the kids say, vibing right now. This is just fumes for them, while Pharaoh rips shot after shot after shot of the back of them.
Good wall towards site, but it's already been broken, so they can't even get that spike down trustedly. Camera over towards site, and again, it's getting all that information. Ebot going absolutely massive!
Here in this map number 4 season, up on championship point, being up 2-1. Nifty dropped down to 19 HP. Joker with his M13 in hand is just trying to hold the angles.
Healing is coming up.
Welcome everyone back to GitGud EU on the ELO Hell Esports Twitch channel. Sorry for that little bit of scuffness towards the end of that last match, but it did end in a nice 3-0 for whatever the team name was. I'm dumb. But either way, we're here with our next game now. This is gonna be Black Bulls against TC Red Sky. And yeah, this is an intermediate game now, so we're looking at a bit more high-level gameplay.
Absolutely, yeah. So glad to have you back, Toasty, and that was Lustrum that did take the 3-0. Sorry about that, and
out of it.
Yeah, like Toasty said, sorry about that as well. For the obviously Toasty had an unexpected power outage, nothing under his control. So yeah, looking forward to getting into the intermediate game. You know, we saw overall some great gameplay and some great coaching in the rookie pool there with Lustrum and Pretty Savage. I think Lustrum in particular demonstrated some awesome fundamentals of the game. We mentioned some things that we would like to see tighten up. Well, here's where we hopefully get to see them. Right, as we move into the intermediate gameplay, I expect to see a little bit more discipline. You know, a little more, I would say, finishing fights, getting all the way through, and a little bit more kind of, you know, just overall kind of control of what's going on. I mean, it's not just a WQ and W mouse one. You know, kind of just straight up. That's all the fights are.
Yeah.
You know, I think we'll see a little more a little more creativity and composition as well. You know, really be looking for the game to kind of extend to the next level.
Yeah, and obviously from a coach's perspective as well, I mean, you're going to be excited to see how much the step up is between Plat and the kind of Diamond to Masters type thing. So I'm definitely excited as well, because both of these teams are also mid-table teams. We've casted 2 mid-table teams in the previous one with the 5-3 win-loss ratios, and now these ones are 4-4. So this is proper like mid-table of intermediate division. So we're looking at, you know, basically whether you know, intermediate division actually can compare to maybe some of like the other divisions, like in terms of the skill level, if it's better, if it's worse, because we have a pretty, you know, good metric to go off of, which is both games have been mid-table. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to see if this is improving gameplay. It probably will be. It's a few hundred SR higher, which you would usually expect to be better. And to be fair, I mean, these teams looking pretty even as well. I mean, they have small rosters, I'll tell you that much. They haven't got any subs on either of the sides.
Yeah, they have small rosters and really large SR discrepancies. You know, we have, you know, for example, they have in particular, I'm going to talk about Red Sky's comp and Red Sky, but you know, Rod FD on Red Sky, on TC Red Sky, is a 3,800 player.
Yeah.
Their lowest player, Fade, is a 2,900 player, and then on Black Bulls, their lowest player is a 2870, so another 2,800. That's Pilsfa. And then their highest player, right above, is Mudaru at 3,750. So their support duo is 2,850, 3,750. So there's a pretty interesting discrepancy here. I'm assuming that in order to make these teams, the lower players must be extremely talented, you know, and so that'll be great to watch. But getting back to what I mentioned about Red Sky, Red Sky has a crazy, you know, kind of hero mains. So I'm literally gonna read down the hero mains here as we start for Red Sky. The most played heroes in the same order on the screen is Tracer, Sombra, Ball, Diva, Lucio, Zenyatta.
That's looking crazy.
So that is an interesting main. So we talked about seeing some more interesting comps. Well, Ball dive, anyone? You know, Ball Sombra dive. So I definitely think that we'll see some really, hopefully, creative and some out-of-the-box stuff. I say this, of course, you know, because I'm jinxing it. They'll come out on Reinzar. They won't. They better not. But, you know, just in general, I think that, you know, there's some propensity here to see some really interesting comps that could catch Black Bulls off guard. It looks like their lineup is a lot more, you know, air quotes, standard.
Yeah, just a little bit. And I'm really interested as well to see, you know, not just the difference in skill that we were talking about between the previous game and this one, but also the difference in composition, right? Last game we saw no ball being played at all because Platinum's playing ball and never goes right. It's such a hard hero to play in a team setting, to understand, to set up engages with. You know, you've got to know when to go in, how to disrupt, that kind of stuff. It's a hero that you're going to see a lot more in these higher games, like in the intermediate division. And I'm very much excited to see whether TC Red Sky actually pull that out. Funnily enough, some of their favorite maps actually are quite heavily ball favored. One of those is kind of Nepal, especially if you're playing Shrine. You've got a lot of maneuverability on that map specifically.
Yeah, definitely. I think you said it best, right? A lot of times in Plat, ball's just not a hero that we see played at that elo, or if we do see played, maybe not played very effectively. You know, it's interesting. One of the last teams that I actually was the head coach for was a tier 2 team, not tier 2 in PC scene, tier 2 in console scene, which is about that same elo, that kind of Plat Diamond range. And I happened, one of my assistant coaches happened to be one of the best ball players in A. Shout out Jovi. But yeah, so Jovi, I kind of took one of our off-tank players in tier 2 under his wing and created what I would call like a master's tier ball. You know, spent a lot of time, and in the off season, that ball player playing in this elo, in that Plat Diamond elo, but was taught by one of the very best, was unstoppable, uncontrollably dominant, actually jumped into a GM game, a GM pug after the fact, is how good he was. So ball can be absolutely dominating, especially if applied, and we're right in kind of that danger zone here with this elo where potentially if we do see some hero ball play, it could be the story of the match.
Yeah, I'm certainly excited to see whether TC Red Sky whip it out. I don't think we're going to see it on Village, and have I jinxed myself by saying that? No, I haven't. Thank the Lord. Yeah, we got Rhine Mirror on both sides. This is, in fact, pretty much what we're expecting to see on Village, right? The Symmetras.
Yeah, we're seeing some more consistency in meta comps here. You know, this is exactly it. We got the sim. You know, they're gonna try to TP high ground, potentially high ground, or maybe TP direct to point. But you know, it's this game's gonna be about first control. Whatever team gets first control, we're gonna see some rotation on the other team, and we're gonna get some major setup points.
Indeed, and we'll see the initial, well, actually, that's not even initial TP, sorry. Fade is just gonna TP a looks to the main show, because I have away, Kobe.
No worries, yeah, so we're gonna see TC come up. Oh, they're gonna TP to the front corner. The other team does the same, but it looks like Blackwell's gonna get on point first with the turrets. The Maywalls come out from both sides. It is chaos, creating a bloody alley. We're gonna fight. We see Imwar come out from both sides. TRJ with the first pick of the round onto Hunter. That's a main tank kill. That's pretty big. And those turrets on point just going nuts. But Mudaru kills the Mei, and we do get Yami taking out the Lucio. It looks like it's gonna be a pretty decisive win for Black Bulls here. They were able to get those turrets on point first. They got those turrets on point first, and then they got the wall in front of the turret, so they had to fight inside of the turret stream. That extra damage did them in, and Black Bull is going to get that all-important first control.
Yeah, exactly. And they've also built up that Symmetra wall 60% higher than Fade.
Oof.
I mean, that is massive.
It is. It's their best ult.
Yeah, and look at that TP as well, right into the midst of them. I mean, TC Red Sky, Fade just walks away, gets taken down by a stray icicle from Smurf, domed right there. And now Yami can go mad with the Symmetra beam, start, you know, pummeling some shields, but that's a nice shatter. It doesn't actually catch anything, though, from Kryptonic. Instead, Hunter Draco could go and use theirs, but they're nice Am Matrices on both sides. They want to deal that damage and get these pickoffs, and now as a rotation comes through, TC Red Sky might actually catch Smurf off. My god, a nice eat though. Flame Dragon eats the Blizzard of Hera, and a retaliation one comes through. Smurf laying it right in the midst of three of them, takes them down, and Black Bulls remain in control.
Yeah, and I actually really love Black Bulls. We talked about Discipline before the match. Look at what just happened, chat, right? Black Bulls immediately gets the pick on Fade. Fade kind of stumbles in, gets the pick, and then Black Bulls goes, we're not committing anything. We have the 5-on-6. We're going to dive hard and fast. We're going to move through them. We don't need it. So what happened was they got the pick. They retained all their ults. Now, they did use the Blizzard, I think, but now they have, you know, 4 ults going in. They retain economy, and we're going into what could be the last fight.
Yeah, absolutely, and Hunter Draco has a shatter that they can use as well to run around the corner and go for some aggressive play here. You see them actually caught out by the wall there, so don't quite want to go too aggressive, but now they're getting in there. The swings come through, a shatter laid down. That's what you'll love to see. That's going to be, well, almost a team kill there. In fact, TRJ does get taken down, so that is a lovely team kill.
And they retain, beat, and bomb to zone the point, beat for resilience if they need it. This one's lights out, folks.
Yeah, definitely. There's no shot of anyone in TC Red Sky getting in there. You see the ultimates being used at the end here for fun, and really, Black Bulls, they brought the tempo to TC Red Sky. I mean, they got the initial point cap, and every fight from there was just aggression, purely.
That's how it is, you know, with the Sim May in particular. Once they lock in that first, you know, they followed up the locked in of that first control with some really strong ult discipline and some really intelligent economy usage. You know, that's all it takes. They let the map generate the advantage for them. They let their brain generate the advantage with the economy, and you know that was all you can eat. That was too much for Red Sky, and it looks like Red Sky may be playing some spawn tricks on us, but they are going to rotate to a little bit different hub. Oh, we see it. Here it is, Toasty.
There we go.
Yeah, but
yep, so they look like they want to TP out and then go over to the Tracer, I would assume here, of Fade. So they're going to try something different, not mirror that brawl this time around. It is going to be hard to play ball comps into this, but to be fair, if Smurf and Yami don't manage to CC Kryptonic, this could be massive.
Yeah, Kryptonic is really gonna not love his ball pick here into the Cassidy and the May. We'll see if they end up switching. Usually good ball players know how to play around, but just in general, they got a Sombra and a Brig and a Zen as well to help poke some damage. So let's see how they seek to engage.
Yeah, indeed, and look at that flash up into the back here. It has to translocate away, and TC Red Sky still have to wait around for the Sombra to return. You can't go in without that hack. Now you'll see it come through onto Flame Dragon, but where's Kryptonic with the engage? Going for a health pack right as the hack comes through, but onto Draco, under a lot of pressure, has to be trying. I mean, there's an attempt to keep him alive there, but impossible under all that pressure. And that's the type of engage you need, right? You need the hack, then the pile drive, and slowly wear the enemy down.
Yeah, a really good communication from TC Red Sky there. You know, we talked about how it's going to be difficult for Kryptonic to get in, but they also have a Tracer, they also have a Sombra, you know, they also have a Diva, so it's almost like not enough stuns for one Cassidy, right? You know, they have Yami, and it's, you know, what are they going to do? And they're actually going to rotate off the Cassidy into the Tracer Sombra ball, which I'm not sure I love. They must have something up their sleeves here, but, you know, they really did a good job of communicating those cooldowns.
Yeah, I'm not sure on this kind of 6-man hybrid where you're not playing the Sombra. I don't like this from Black Bulls, and now we'll see the EMP. That is massive. It catches onto Mudaru as well, so Pillsbury will get taken down at first. A little bit of a late beat there, but it doesn't save Flame Dragon whatsoever, as Kryptonic right here on the point looks to deal some extra damage. In fact, Rod FD is going to get taken down. A bomb into the back, though, that's going to zone some people off. A remake from Flame Dragon, so Black Bulls are coming back into this. They want to deal the damage and get in there, but a Pulse Bomb comes through. It's going to deal the damage to Flame Dragon instead, who's going down quite low. But look at Oli Yu, they are on 1 HP, somehow staying alive, and Kryptonic uses the mine, zones some people off from main, but Smurf takes out Oli Yu, so it is still looking good here for Black Bulls. They're extending this team fight out, but they're going to win it at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, they're extending the team fight out, but are they? Because we still have Kryptonic. Oh, Bluetooth does go down here. Is going to have to back out. I don't know if they're finally going to flip it, but that was a solid 25-30 seconds of extra engagement from TC Red Sky that kind of gets some extra percentage points on board. They're going to come back. It looks like Black Pulse is going to retain the economy advantage here. And the Pulse Bomb, I would be seeking with the Pulse Bomb to really try to isolate the Zen or the Brig. If they can pick one of the supports and then slam into the rest of the team, that would kind of be big. And it looks like Smurf's looking for it out back.
Smurf just pestering at Hero, forcing them away, alright, as they're about to build up towards that EMP. And now the dive comes through. Rod FD and Oli EU are gonna fall Flame Dragon and Yami right into their faces. And the Primal Rage from Hunter Draco should be enough just for the cleanup here, just trying to disrupt the enemy Diva. But Pilsver has fallen, so they will have to back up here, obviously, but they have still won the team fight.
They have, and they didn't commit the Pulse Bomb, so they had Smurf didn't really have the angle, didn't really go what they want. You see Hera lurking over on the elephant here. You know, you Hera with the EMP again, so you almost wonder if they're going to try to set up. Oh, looks like they might be onto it. The good ears on Ayami does find him, but we're going to get right into the engagement. But EMP could be in here, but they do take down Faye to start.
Yeah, but now that EMP comes through, it cancels off the Coalescence, but where's the follow-up? Your DPS presence is all gone. Hunter Draco is taken down here, and Oli EU is the next to fall. Black Bulls, they are dealing with this competition really well. even though they did get that goal as cancelled, and Yami does get taken down here. Stray pick towards the end, but it's not going to result in it too much for TC Red Sky. They've got one last chance of this, which will probably be Kryptonic touching.
Yeah, they're gonna get the touch. Maybe they're definitely gonna get the touch on the Tracer. Tracer will get the touch, and then they have Kryptonic in as well. But they just might be facing too many ults from Black Bulls.
Yeah, Pulse Bomb comes around to Pilfer, however, as that Death Blossom from Yami tries to clean up on some players, but the Transcendence is there. Rod FD keeps everyone alive, and Yami falls as well.
Ooh.
TC Red Sky coming back into this one with a vengeance. And they're gonna, well, they're about a team fight away from winning this, so this one's a close map.
That was great, and they got a couple ults out of Black Bulls there too, and that was a never say die attitude, right? That's one of the awesome parts about this comp is how quickly they can re-engage and pile in. And when you think you got the Tracer ISO, well, there's the Ball in behind, the Sombra in behind, the Diva's not far after that, and then someone's discorded, and sooner or later you're in a full-fledged team fight. You thought you were just cleaning up staggers.
Absolutely, and Black Bulls on the approach. They've got a bomb to work with here as well as a Primal Rage, so they're going to use those pretty quickly here. A hack onto Flame Dragon, but the Primal Rage into the back, actually trying to take out Hera. Only EU and Rod FD are going to go down, so there's no healing whatsoever. TRJ on a sliver of HP will get their health back, but where's the support for the rest of the team? Kryptonic uses the mines, trying to turn some people off, and Under Draco in a precarious position has to jump away. Flame Dragon uses that bomb and gets the point cap coming through, and a Pulse Bomb actually will catch Hunter Draco and Flame Dragon. That's so much damage. TRJ is going to fall, however. Smurf now can come in with a Pulse Bomb of their own if they really want to, but I don't even know if it's going to be necessary. Flame Dragon has been de-mech'd here, so it's very close as a team fight, but only EU gets killed on the return, and Smurf takes out Fade with the fadeaway punch. I love to see that. And Yami with the Death Blossom should be enough to clean up things here. Just that Pulse Bomb remains, and Black Bulls take that map 2-0. That was some fast-paced gameplay.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think if Yami obviously waiting for the Diva to be off, you know, waiting for the Diva to be out of sight, that way they can go ahead and drop that Blossom to hopefully end or clean up or make the fight just, you know, irrecoverable from that point. You know, really interesting. The Diva happened to be out back, but if I was Yami, I would have been screaming at Smurf there to, hey, go stick the Tracer. or hey, go stick the Diva, and the massive Shatter just walked through. What a dominating Shatter for the play of the game. But yeah, they're really looking to kind of get the Diva out of mech. Yami can hit the Blossom, dump one or two. The fight's over, but really back and forth. Red Sky really kind of, I think, surprising Black Bulls with their re-engagement potential there. I think Black Bulls thought they had it locked up a little before they actually did.
Yeah, absolutely. And in all reality there, Black Bulls, they just had the counter comp in the second round as well. You know, they found the counter comp, which was that kind of, you wouldn't expect it, right? It was that 6-man without the Sombra, which is usually what people, you know, kind of instinctively go towards as your counter to Bull, Sombra, right? But they didn't go towards that. They went for Reaper Tracer, which is really good, to be fair, because, you know, Smurf on the Tracer was brilliant, and you'll see it here as well. Smurf versus Fade on the Tracer, both doing a lot of work. It actually seemed like Fade was doing a bit better there, actually.
Yeah, it did. I mean, Fade had a ton of damage, was kind of poking tanks to farm bomb. You know, whenever we talk about Tracer, that this is kind of what you're looking at are stats from two different playstyles. The other thing that's really important to look at with this is look at Fade's ultimates used per 10 relative to Smurf's used per 10. You know, Fade is a lot more in there. He's trying to farm tanks. They're trying to generate pulse bombs, clearly, and use them, but they also died much more often because they're kind of in the middle of the fight. Smurf pokes the edge of the fight, looks for the assassinations, dies less often. But in this situation, the two Tracer playstyles, the Assassin and the Tank Farmer, well, it looks to me like the Tank Farmer clearly had the more impact here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 2.2 deaths per 10. You do not see that every day on Tracer. I mean, that's what you'd expect of maybe like a Brigitte that's being extremely well defended, or a Diva that never dies, right? Not a Tracer that's in the back constantly dealing damage. But like you were saying, I think it is the difference in playstyle. It is that kind of passiveness that allows for a bit more of like kind of an engage where it's not constant chaos, not constantly engaging, not constantly looking for picks. You're looking for that one punch engage with that 6-man.
Yeah, I mean, as a coach, I look at this. I could spend 30 minutes talking about this one screen. I'll spare you, Chad. I won't do that. But
yeah,
you know, but it's definitely interesting to look at the discrepancy in damage, and then the not that big discrepancy in a limbs per 10. You know, it really shows you what Smurf has chose to focus on versus what Fade has chose to focus on, and you know, playing together as a team that clearly is part of that as well. So their hero times are pretty similar. A really interesting chart, honestly.
Yeah, those are some really interesting stats, I'll give you that. And it really just shows a difference in playstyle, in all honesty, right? Black Bulls, yeah, they were playing aggressive a lot of the time, but they were doing it at the right time. TC Red Sky and a lot of those team fights would just, you know, go in on a hack, and that was their plan, right? They'd use a couple of ultimates, and then that'd be that. They win or they don't win. Whereas Black Bulls, they're waiting to bait the enemy team in, they're waiting to have those engages onto perhaps the backline. We saw it multiple times where Oli EU and the other support as well were just falling constantly because Black Bulls would wait.
Yeah, and I mean, you called it too. The counter comp that wasn't the counter comp, right? You know,
yeah.
Yami rotating to the Reaper off of the Cassidy. You know, they come out on Tracer or Sombra Ball. You know, usually the whole team is screaming, "All right, someone go get on a stun!" Right? They had one out the door. Yami actually has Cassidy listed as their most played hero, as their main, and they immediately rotate to the Reaper, which you would think is probably not the best into a Sombra. You know, and obviously good for the monkey, but just in general, you know, I think that me as a coach, at first glance, I would have thought higher impact would have been had, especially from someone who's a Cassidy main. I would have thought stay on the Cassidy, land your calculated stuns, and go from there. And you know, they certainly proved me wrong. Rotated the Reaper, and they chose to ISO the monkey. It worked much better. The rest of the team couldn't stay on point after that, and you know, really kind of well isolated and well executed.
Yeah, and like you say as well, it wasn't just the composition, because in itself, the composition shouldn't really counter ball comps, right? It was more just the way they played it. They were patient, they waited around, they'd wait for the pile drive engage, and they realized that, you know, while they're on Reinhardt, while they're on that kind of tight-knit composition, you're going to take a lot of damage from pile drives, you're going to take a lot of damage from perhaps potential pulse bombs and potential hacks, right? There's a lot that can go into that brawl composition, and you can't out-rotate it, whereas you're more mobile as that kind of six-man, pseudo six-man, I guess we'll call it, because it wasn't exactly six-man, didn't have a Sombra, but it was definitely good either way.
Yeah, it's a really interesting game. That's the kind of game that I would watch back on VOD and discuss first. You know, just talk about the differences and kind of composition there for a while too. But you know, we're heading into our hybrid map, which who can guess what it is?
Of course, who would have known? I couldn't have known at all.
Yeah, I would have never called it. Yeah, you know, kind of heading into King's Row, another interesting engagement map. This is a map that's really focused with all the corners and streets, as well as point one. There's some great angle isolations. We talked about that in our first cast earlier today. But again, for kind of a dive focus or even a ball, you can do some really cool things with lots of high heights with buildings to kind of, you know, to grapple off of, and lots of kind of hidden engagements where they can get in and get out quickly. But, you know, we'll be interested to see what everyone brings to the show or what they have. But, you know, King's Row often is the map that most teams rehearse, most teams practice on. When teams are building composition, they're just messing around. Obviously, it's the pug map of choice, right? It's everyone's favorite. So King's Row is interesting because it's kind of where you see teams at their core. You see what they prepared for, what exactly they're planning, what they're thinking. A lot of their development, presumably, has been done on King's Row. So here's where we get to see teams kind of bring in what they've practiced. And I think part of the fun of being King's Row, of being kind of like the mutually assured favorite map, is that you know, you get to see perhaps more creative strategies than you would on other maps. So now that I've thoroughly jinxed it, let's see what each team's going to play. Oh.
Yeah, there's no way we see that from TC Red Sky, I'll tell you that much. We're not going to see the ball hog. I would have loved to see it, don't get me wrong, but it's just not feasible, is it? But yeah, we'll see the standard stuff here. Black Bulls playing that kind of aggressive, May Cassidy, Ryan Diva composition that I think is pretty standard. I think you want to play this coming out if you don't know what to expect from the enemy team.
Yeah, it's a really good kind of all-comers comp. And then, you know, on the other side, we'll see. I think they kind of do maybe know what to expect from Red Sky, assuming there's not too many, you know, major ball players like Kryptonic that they have to play against. I'm sure they've done their homework. You know, we are going to see, looks like we're not going to see the ball. They're going to rotate to, it looks like almost a mirror, and it is going to be a dead mirror, so we got a slugfest, Toasty.
Yep, and this will come down to little nuances, right? The small plays, the positioning, the cooldown usage. You talked about it in the previous series as well. You need to be very disciplined with this kind of stuff. And talk about discipline, Flame Dragon definitely not. Somehow gets saved by the Immortality Heal of Pilsver, but that's so many resources gone, keeping the Diva alive. The Black Bulls are just getting rolled over right now. TC Red Sky right in there with the pace, and some nice shots there from Fade too.
Did you see Red Sky's engagement? That's, you know, I mean, chat, pay attention, right? That was insane. Just the no hesitation at the choke, right? We talk all the time about, one of my favorite things to do with Reinhardt players, Toasty, is I'll bring them onto a map and I'll say, where's the choke? And they have to understand that they are the choke. They pushed right through the right side, slammed right to point, dictated the engagement, won the fight.
And the same thing's happening here, but on the opposite side. Black Bulls right up in their faces. They're actually going to get frozen up, though. And that amplification matrix can deal so much damage, forces the positioning. And there's that hesitation you're talking about, right? They can't push forward into an amp matrix. That was a decision they made, and now they have to live with that. And they're going to be walking into a high noon, a blizzard. It's going to be hard for them here. Black Bulls going to start taking some space. Now that wall comes through, though, it segments off the Reinhardt. And there's the shatter. Kryptonic puts 4 on their backside. And that should be what wins in the team fight here. Look at him go.
Absolutely massive. Yeah, they're going to move through. You know, so the Reinhardt, we talk more about Reinhardt play in particular. They're going to clean up the Lucio here, but Reinhardt often moves corner to corner. We joke all the time that Reinhardt only see corners because it's just one corner to the next. You'll see him move right to the next corner. What Kryptonic there did is he actually did something. When Reinhardt move away from corners, we call that floating. So Reinhardt backing up off the corner, Kryptonic backed up, kind of kited Black Bulls in, like you said, put the hammer down, knocked over 4 of them, and they walked through them. But you'll see Kryptonic here is going to hold this corner until the engagement. He's going to fight, then he'll push the space and take the next corner. Really strong fundamental Rein play.
Oh, that's a bad position for Fade, but still, I mean, in fact, Yami's the one to get the pick onto Gerard FC instead, and the Shatter actually invested Hunter Draco, just wants to use it for the cleanup, and it'll do pretty nicely there. Black Bull's gonna chase up some kills. DC Red Sky is sent packing.
Yeah, like you said, kind of a sloppy fight, kind of a sloppy noon or two. Just kind of hanging out there, but you know, now we talk about corners on the other side. We'll see what corner Draco wants to take here. I'd be pushing up to the next one, kind of where my diva is. But just in general, Kryptonic looking really tight, you know, and then especially playing with that May behind him. See Kryptonic take these corners. He's going to be unstoppable if Draco continues to float. Huge wall.
He has the E onto the Blizzard, though, and now a Shatter actually in retaliation. What on earth is going on? A bomb into the back. Flame Dragon catches the Lucio, and the follow-up is there for Black Bulls. Walk me through that fight, please. I got
that was nuts. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to walk through, right? Massive Shatter. You know, ate the Blizzard, like you said. Massive Shatter, a Blizzard of their own, and then a bomb just for the chef's kiss on top of it. They didn't need all of it, but just ult advantage here, just massively rolling them over with economy. However, heads up, both teams do have both support ults coming in, so this is going to be the battle of the beats, and we'll see who can get more value out of the window.
Smurf!
Oh, Smurf, what are you doing?
Where's your team? What on earth? Okay, we won't talk about that for now. Black Bulls are going to have to try and play aggro to make up for that. They got the beat, they got the amp matrix. All of the support ults coming out right now, like you said, it's a press Q fight. As we'll see Fade, well, actually not Fade, sorry. Yami go for the high noon, but taken down by Hira. With that icicle, just a nice one to dome them with, and yeah, this will get the cart rolling.
Yeah, it's gonna have it moving. I don't know if you saw there. The windows were kind of interlocking. We kind of made a triangle with the windows. But it looked to me like, you know, Red Sky was really the team that got more value out of their window, allowing Fade to play behind it. Fade with the other high noon now held the high noon through the fight, just kind of poked through the window. It looks like Red Sky coming up on 4 ults here. They're gonna have advantage as we move forward. Want to see Kryptonic continue to take corners aggressively.
Yeah, and talk about taking corners aggressively. Look at Fade, could go for the high noon, decides to let it loose. 2 kills coming from that, and Kryptonic willing to just run it forward and deal the damage. I mean, look at them go. In fact, that Reinhardt might even get taken down. There has to be super careful. You can't always be too aggressive with a Reinhardt.
Yeah, well, you're kind of limited, right? So you're on a rubber band in the sense that you're rubber banded the cart just a bit. You know, he can't. I think Kryptonic would very much like to walk all the way into their spawn door at this point, you know, and keep swinging with a team behind him. But, you know, they can't get too far ahead of the cart, otherwise they're going to have to back up eventually anyway.
The Amp Matrix slow, it'll deal some damage, a nice wall off onto it as a Blizzard comes through. Bomb into the back though, TRJ doesn't actually catch anything, so it still looks like it's favored towards DC Red Sky. Look at them go, 2 kills, a Shatter though from onto Draco, but where's the follow-up? 2 of your players have already fallen. Bit of a Hail Mary one if I do say so myself. Talk about Hail Mary, there's a bomb from a Flamer Dragon. Doesn't actually catch anything. If we pop the map onto Smurf, should be the be-all end-all here. As Yami gets one with that high noon, so if the stall can come through, then maybe you're looking at a team fight win for Black Bulls. They're coming back in, a nice pin from Hunter Draco, and they are coming back on the Moira. They got the beat, they got the Blizzard as well. This should force some people off the point. DC Red Sky looks like they're going to end this map, well, not map off, but their round off here.
Yeah, they are. And almost the Shatter timed on the Doom engagement. DC, that guy gonna push. They're gonna clean up this Lucio. Maybe not. We rotate the ball. Draco coming back in and a beat to protect the ball. And somehow we call the Tracer on a spawn too. We're not done.
Yeah, but it will be that high noon from Fade. I mean, what more could you ask for? Completely uncontested in the back lines. A nice remake kill as well. And that should be that. You just need to kill off the Doomfist here. That was a good time buy from Black Bulls. I mean, they came out, maybe bought a minute or so.
Yeah, they definitely stalled for probably a solid minute. And I think that, you know, I was laughing. You heard me chuckle a little bit there because I was watching... I'm gonna apologize in advance for the pronunciation, but Alu there trying to actually just kind of seek the angles to get the boops into this little pit we're looking at right now, trying to get the Ryan boop, trying to get the Diva boop. He did end up winning the Lucio duel, so that was great. But just in general, you know, they got to be adding more value to their team. But when we talk about staggered engagements and kind of touching, it's always done in order of who's going to touch. At this elo, we actually see some calculation there. It's not just everyone pile onto the point a second you can. It's I got next, I got next. You're talking with your team about rotations and touching to see how long you can draw out a fight, potentially eke some advantage out through attrition and then win the fight. So definitely some great initiative there, you know, for Black Bulls as they fought hard to get the recontest. At the end of the day, Red Sky just too solid, too many ults. They ended up, you know, taking it clean. And we're going to see some interesting comp from... I don't think we'll see this from Black Bulls, of course. We're not going to play Winston Ryan. I would be pretty impressed if they did, but I think we might end up with another mirror here.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure whether that'll actually favor the Black Bulls, right? Maybe they play better as an attacking team, you know, with the aggression and all that, but I feel like TC Red Sky are just better on this specific composition. We'll end up seeing, though. I mean, we are back to that full mirror, like you say, and... every position is about the same, but TC Red Sky are waiting around this corner. They don't want to. They don't want to have, like, they don't want to have the same situation as before, basically, where they're going to get rushed onto. And yeah, look at Black Bulls straight through Hotel. They've got Yami on the flank. Might even go for that flash. Doesn't actually catch anything with it though. With Smurf and Hunter Draco frozen up. Gonna go down quite low, but the Immortality Field does keep him up. And look at Yami on that long angle, boy. Hit by 2 dings from Fade. That's a bit of a Cassidy diff right there. And everyone else all here for Black Bulls. They had the right idea, but the execution was off.
Yeah, I really don't love the Yami kind of poking back out, trying to take an off angle. I get the attempts that I take too, but Red Sky just played May Bap, you know, Ryan Diva into you. There's so much resilience, so many ways to do that. I don't think you can get value fast enough. Should have stuck with their team there, but you know, I think hopefully Yami lived and learned from that, and as we move into the second engagements, we do see Kryptonic way ahead on Shatter, so we see if the Shatter just puts away second fight.
Absolutely, Kryptonic could actually surprise them with this one. I don't think Black Bulls will realize. As Kryptonic in a spot of trouble, however, has to be immortality'd up just to keep them up. And now that Matrix will come through, Rod FD getting all the damage in, but Smurf is the one to get the kill in instead. Kryptonic might need to clutch up with the Shatter here because, okay, just minus a couple kills there actually. Fade and TRJ coming through with the goods, and that should just send Black Bulls packing, but no, they're going to re-engage Yami with a couple kills. Now the Shatter will put them on their backside. Look at them go. The aggression in there with that follow-up. DC Red Sky, I mean, they had the idea.
We talked about MTD last game. That was MTD. That was all Kryptonic. Get in my backpack. That was corner discipline. Staying on his corner, didn't chase through the Hotel, didn't chase through Alderworth. Hold that corner hard. He waited for them to push, thinking they could smell the blood in the water. He hit the Shatter, and his team was able to recover.
Yeah, Black Bulls really got to be more disciplined in that regard, but Hunter Draco now has a slam of their own if they really want to use it. Another eat onto the Blizzard of Hera, though, and a 2-man fire strike
through the window
sends them back in. Oh my lord. And that's another good fight there for Black Bulls, except this one will end up being an actual team kill, capping up the point now.
Look at all those mini Baptiste faces in the feed too. You know, that's max value from a window right there. Yeah. Amplification Matrix on full display with obviously the double, you know, the 2-piece there with the fire strike that knocks out 2 squishies, and then you just, you know, then you just had obviously just poking through it with the Cassidy. So much damage, it was over before it started.
Absolutely, but look at the aggression come through. Black Bulls have to drop a beat just to keep themselves up here. Hunter Draco being forced back into the corner, and there's the slam, perfectly timed. Realizing the shield went down, and Kryptonic lays it down, gets a couple with it, and that should be the team fight.
Yeah, Kryptonic just absolutely, you know, just wants to be in there. Kryptonic wants to fight. He wants blood. He smells it. You can tell Kryptonic is just as maximum aggressive as possible, and just look at this. I really love where they're gonna go ahead and engage way up here, wait for team and kind of come back. But I really just think that Kryptonic is just kind of the whole reason that we see Red Sky succeeding right now.
Yeah, but look at that massacre. I mean, so much damage coming in as they'll take out of the Jeep. In fact, the bomb comes through. If that shield goes down, it could be nasty, but Hunter Draco somehow stays alive in the midst of things. Now looking to maybe come from the side of Shatter, but Kryptonic is cognizant of that. Doesn't want it to happen, but Yami's gotten a kill, and there's the slam right as Kryptonic falls. Bob fell into the back from Flame Dragon. Doesn't catch anything, but it's style points. It's explosive. And there we go. That should be point B capped up.
Yeah, I'm not sure we needed the shatter. I almost think that Hunter Draco with a good shatter there, I don't know that they needed it, but I think the second he saw Kryptonic die, the second they saw Kryptonic die, they were like, oh, it's my chance, better drop it, get 1 or 2. And that's exactly what happened. They're going to take a smooth point 2, obviously, here, but, really, really a good fight, and I think Kryptonic got punished there. So if they can continue to do that, it looks like we are going to move to it looks like a very brief pause. Not sure if we lost someone again here. We are going to throw in between. Looks like we might be having some difficulties. I don't know if you have any more information about that, Toasty.
No idea, absolutely none. It seems to be a DC though, so that's the basics of what we know essentially. So yeah, I mean that could actually suck for one of these teams because either the one engaging Black Bulls right now, they were in prime position to maybe follow up on that Mei, but TC Red Sky, they can't keep that Mei alive if they're a player down. So
yeah, I absolutely, and I mean with the DC is always unfortunate because that player is going to lose the economy. So especially if that player had an ult or was close to that economy level, even if we get the rejoin, it's not going to be the same. Tank. So yeah, it's just oh man, yeah. So which main check was a Hunter Draco?
DC, yeah, TCs.
Okay, oh gotcha, yeah. So yeah, so we'll see them. We'll obviously see them come back. So if it was the TC's main tank, then that looks like it was Kryptonic. Which is worse because Hunter Draco did just commit the shatter, so it was low. So I think Kryptonic probably loses the shatter here. Not that that's the be-all, end-all. Talk a lot about main tanks this game, but one thing I do want to call out too, I do want to mention while we wait to get Kryptonic back into the lobby is that a lot of Kryptonic was enabled. A lot of all of TC's aggression, which is hyper aggression, yet again for the second time today, we're seeing the more aggressive team, the team that's has the larger propensity to try to dictate and force fights the way they want them. We're seeing them really kind of go through and get some pretty decisive fight wins, and they're enabled really largely, I would say, by Pilsva. The immortalities always seem to be there when they need them. I think there's a couple times that I've seen Kryptonic get bailed out right in time. They get frozen or something by the Mei, or they get a little punished, and then bang, the immortality's right there when they need it, and the rest of the team comes crashing into the rescue. So I think the communication is great too, but sorry, not Pills. So that's the other Baptiste. I'm getting everyone a little bit crossed here. Yeah, but just seeing the Immors come in is really enabling them to be aggressive, and it's interesting, especially because we're playing such a mirror comp. We do see some fights back and forth, but we're seeing the micro differences and what that looks like manifested in the macro on a point. Looks like we are ready to get back in, or maybe not. Oh, and production, always my hero, pulling up the differences for us in the main tanks. So here we go. Yeah, that's what I mean. Look at that. Look at the damage.
Kryptonic. What, the 20 to 5? Blows?
Yeah, that's the bloodthirst. That's the bloodthirst. And like I said, look at the support Kryptonic's getting. Obviously Kryptonic is winning the tank fight and is, like I said, is in there. So that's going to be more deaths for Hunter Draco because usually those two are going to be the ones that kind of meet on the Western front, if you will. But, just look at the difference there. Kryptonic is that much more aggressive and yet is basically still blocking almost the same amount of damage while having more, basically almost exactly double the damage of Hunter Draco. And the Elims, well, I don't think I need to say anything about the Elims or final blows.
Goodness. That's almost like 4 times the Elims. I can't believe that.
Yeah, look at the economy. Look at the ultimates used, the shatter. And I think even more so if we were to compare value of those shatters, that's if we were to take a look at stats of how many shatter kills Kryptonic has, well, I think it would look very much like the Elim breakdown there. But when I called out the main tank diff, this is kind of exactly what I mean. It's just it's really just, and it's nothing special. It's just Kryptonic taking corners correctly, having the support of his team, making sure to engage when he needs to, and just really holding the positions and creating the fights for his team. That's what main tanks do. creating the fights for his team that they want to take. And I mean, clearly, look at the results.
Yeah, I mean, results they are. Kryptonic has been just massacring everybody on Black Bulls, and really, you know, it makes you wonder why they even went over to that Ball Diva comp in the first place if they're this good at Brawl. But getting straight back into things here, and this is what I'm talking about, right? Look at TC Red Sky, they kind of pushed up, so if there is some aggression, Black Bulls could follow up on some kills. Looks like Kryptonic will be back in time, though. They are backing up towards the backside of that spawn.
Yeah, Kryptonic definitely coming back on the 1% ult charge, but they do have both DPS ults, so we'll have to see. We'll see if they try to bait the immortality first. They don't.
There we go. Hanoon breaks a shield, however, so that's actually pretty good. Black Bulls having to back up, and in fact, Hero's in a weird position inside that side of room. Might even use the Blizzard in this team fight if they really opt to, and there we go, but it's going to get eaten up. Flame Dragon just takes that as a meal for the day, a light snack. Fade gets 2 kills here, so TC Red Sky should be stabilizing either way.
Man, I can hear Hira screaming on that one because I think Hira threw the Blizzard knowing that the Diva was backed up. I think Hira intentionally tried to wait for Flame Dragon to be way back behind before dropping the Blizzard. I mean, it got the desired effect. They did end up pushing him out, but still, I imagine that was exactly what Hira was trying to avoid. But look at this, already back to 41%.
Yeah, here we go. Here's the beat engage. Mudaro getting right into there. A nice flash as well. Stops people from getting away from that Blizzard. And Hunter, Draco, Smurf, they're just going mad in at the front line with the girls. You'll see a bit of a stagger here coming through. TRJ who wants to buy as much time on that payload as possible, but they're just going to roll this one straight through. There will be, looks like a little bit of a stall, unless there's no one here, but they look to be coming out the right door.
Yeah, they do, and looks Draco, I don't know, they might, if they don't get the cap, Draco kind of staggering off to the side there, waiting for the shatter. Looks like they engage from the other side, so it's not going to work out the way Draco had grand dreams.
Positioning.
There it is, but he has to block the High Noon.
Yeah, that was a weird position, to say the least. I mean, they had to block that High Noon, but got a 3-man shatter, and now it looks like TC Red Sky are right back into things. They're going to have the, in fact, no, sorry, Black Bulls are going to have the bomb here. Try and zone some people off, but they're lacking their Reinhardt, so no one can stay alive. Hero comes through, kills off Pilsfer. And yeah, nice stabilization coming through from TC Red Sky there.
Yeah, but Black Bulls has time. You know, they have the minute 40. They definitely lost fight. I like that. Flame Dragon, you know, just kind of commits out. Black Bulls is going to regroup with their team. They recognize they have 2 minutes. They're going to build up some economy. If I were them in this, I would be seeking to make a hard and fast push, a semi-dry push. See if they can't go ahead and get some engagement, bait some cooldowns and ults. If they get a pick, then commit ults. But otherwise, just try to get some value without having to use ults. And there goes that.
TRJ right into the back, launches that bomb in, tactical nuke incoming, 2 down to the ground, and yeah, Black Bulls, they are right back to their spawn room. In fact, nice little stagger kill as well towards the end.
Yeah, I said dry push, but how about no push, right? The bomb just shuts it down before it even starts. Black Bulls does have 2 DPS ults coming back here, and TC Red Sky has no ults at all. They will have beat. You know, if you're ult tracking, you got to be trying to get the Blizzard out before a Luke can come up with the beat. I think Blizzard's the make or break for him here.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kryptonic's coming up towards a shatter as well. Here's the High Noon. Yami going around the corner and actually has a lot of skulls lined up. There we go. Kills off the Lucio. And now the Blizzard into the midst of things, actually, is Smurf going to catch a couple with that one. The Baptiste and the Diva. Kryptonic goes for a Hail Mary shatter, but doesn't land anything with it. Instead, that Hand Matrix is just going to deal all the damage into the core. It is a matter now of whether TC Red Sky can get this into overtime, though, because it could be a draw situation, but can the Moira get back in time? Unfortunately not. That was so close. But Black Bulls finish with a time there.
They do finish with time. That was super, super close. And the High Noon at the very end, breaking through the shield, knocking out the Lucio on 92% to the beat is enormous, right? Because it just sets up the Blizzard, which did get 4 frozen, and that did generate enough advantage for them to move through. So him hitting the Lucio with the Noon was exactly what they wanted. I don't know if that was tactful and they were trying to ISO the Lucio with that, or trying to maybe even bait the beat with the Noon early if they thought he might have already had it. Regardless, it worked out perfectly for them. They're able to tie the game and like you said, end with some time left.
Yeah, and Black Bulls, it's not entirely over for them yet, but look at that time bank. They've got a minute 42 less. It is very much possible to win this, but they have to at least cap first point, I'd say. I don't think TC Red Sky are going to throw away 2 minutes 42 on first point, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, they're not. I 100% agree. We'll see. They're gonna stack in the statue again. They like stacking on this mini. We'll see if that works. I actually think Black Bulls pushed really well by going through the Alderworth, going through the hotel the first time. I think that worked out really well because it's kind of the only engagement that Red Sky isn't prepared for by playing here. So we'll see what they do, but we are gonna get the mirror again. Nothing changes. It's just we're gonna get the Slugfest round 2.
Yeah, this is more like round 3, if anything, but either way, we'll see. Nice hotel rotation, yeah, but this time TC Red Sky are cognizant of it. They will just rush straight forward into the faces of the Black Bulls. Nice reason for Flame Dragon there. Doesn't convert into anything, however. But Kryptonic in the middle of the core of Black Bulls. Taken down with a freeze. Smurf gonna take out the enemy May as well, and Fade in Hotel actually gonna get forced out there by Flame Dragon, so can't quite get as much value as they'd like. And Black Bulls looking like they are in prime position to take this first point, but Flame Dragon gonna get demeched here, but it will be Hunter Draco and Smurf to take out a couple players. That should be that. They will cap up the first point here. That's just what they needed.
Yeah, that was Smurf diff right there. Smurf actually had 3 kills and the Diva mech, so we'll call it 3.5 kills on Smurf there. Really, the May diff really went nuts there and really proved to be huge, especially Kryptonic falling early. Once your Ryan falls in this comp, then you still have your May, Smurf, and Hunter in it. It was kind of predetermined. TC Red Sky did a good job of trying to recontest, but it was too little too late.
Yeah, and here we go. I mean, there was an attempt at an early push there. It actually baits out the amplification matrix, so it's pretty nice there. Black Bulls can have less resources to work with, but look at that. They will take down Rod FD early on, and Fade just cannot keep themselves up in that situation. A blizzard comes through. Not sure if it was necessary, but hey, it's a high-pressure situation. Cut them some slack.
Yeah, true. And I mean, that being said, too, they got the Baptiste. They got Rod with the with the fire strike. I think Rod probably thought that the amplification matrix was over. He unfortunately stepped around the corner and caught a face full of boosted fire strike to be the end of his life. That just enabled the end of the fight. Obviously, just a huge swing when you're engaging 5-on-6, but you're down your Baptiste. So they're gonna push us all the way almost to the last corner of point 2.
There's the Amp Matrix low. TC Red Sky want to force him around the corner, but this payload is gonna stop moving ever forward. It's contested now as TC Red Sky start taking some space. Hunter Draco might want to lay down a shatter. They catch it onto TRJ, but the perfect timing on the wall. Hera stops the follow-up from occurring. And now Black Bulls, they're going to get re-engaged onto here as Fade comes around the back. And nice flank blizzard, but Flame Dragon, the presence of mind to eat that up. And the beat from Mudaro should be able to keep Black Bulls alive, but Hunter Draco falls regardless. Fade actually a bit out of position, going to get taken down by Yami there. But Kryptonic is still going wild in the back, unstoppable. Going to stabilize here on the defense, it looks like, but there's a bomb and an Amp Matrix. A lot of damage coming through as Kryptonic will end up falling a little bit too far forward there. TRJ will take down Yami, so it is still a close team fight, a very close contest as Hunter Draco returns on the ball to try and get a pile drive or 2 through. They will actually catch a couple with that, but I don't think it's going to be enough here. Black Bulls, they're just very fragmented. They have a couple ultimates though. Smurf is going to come through with the blizzard and it doesn't get eaten up. TRJ unable to get anything done now. In fact, no, sorry, that's not Smurf blizzard, that's Hera's blizzard. And a 3K high noon from Fade. Oh my goodness, what was that?
That's gonna be and that's gonna be the end of that's going to be the end of the comp, too, or the end of the fight with the noon, the end of the time bank runs out. But they could not, Hera, I don't know, I'm watching Hera in the back with my eyebrows raised. They could not kill Hera, but for those of you tracking, that's Flame Dragon 2, and that's Flame Dragon 2 and Hera 1 and Hera 0 with the blizzards to DMs there. Second one, Flame Dragon grabbed, and Hera is not making any friends here with this team. Keep getting the blizzards eaten. Obviously, it's just really high IQ by Flame Dragon. Draco kind of telegraphed that last shatter, sitting behind the cart waiting for it. Kryptonic said, no, I know what's going on. I know you can shatter us beneath the cart. Obviously, Smurf was ready for it too, throw up the wall right when it happened, and just really trading cooldowns for ultimates, and that's really it. Whenever you're doing that, you're obviously in a position to succeed.
Yeah, and I mean that last fight as well, where Smurf didn't invest a Blizzard pretty much as soon as they got it right. That's kind of what lost it for him, because if they can force everyone back there for TC Red Sky and stop them from getting those kills, stop the High Noon from happening in the first place, Fade would not have gotten that big play, and we would have seen probably a winning team fight there for Black Bulls. That's why I was confused. I thought Smurf invested it because it was a smart thing to do, but apparently not.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure, interesting the way that played out, right? But I really think that him kind of sitting behind the cart and telegraphing the shatter, really almost kind of gave it away, and it allowed TC Red Sky to really stabilize where they wanted to be, and it put them in a position to win.
Yep, here we go again though with a full mirror. That's a nice wall though. It catches that Hunter Draco. A nice flash as well, but the Immortality Field is there. And now Fade is the one out of position. Kept alive by Rod FD, however, as Hunter Draco falls. So much damage, such a scrap here. For TC Red Sky are making more sense of the scrap than Black Bulls are. And they'll be taking the point immediately. Both of these teams seem like very, very strong attacking teams.
They do, yeah. Both teams want to get aggressive. Again, I think Kryptonic's aggression is facilitated by a little more calculated, and it's helped out a little more by that corner-to-corner approach. I'm really seeing also just, you know, the maze. It seems to be the battle of maze. We talk about main tanks, but you know the maze are facilitating everything. We see crazy walls that generates crazy damage advantages to start these fights, and if they continue like that, this is really, we should be talking about May diff as much as main tank diff.
It has been some good walls, but it's always the Baptistes that are a step ahead in keeping people alive. Now, force out the Immortality Field early on, though. Yami catches both of the supports, massacres them with the skulls, and yeah, they will take the presence at the choke. This is what Black Bulls need. This is a good point to stabilize.
It is. It's huge. This corner is a really strong hold on King's Row 2. I don't know if I love the Noon into the shield. He, you know, kneeled into the shield, the wall, and the Amora. It happened to work out for Yami where he got two there. You know, I think that was kind of a good fortune on their side.
Oh no. It's all gone wrong here. Now the Shatter will be laid down. A couple sent it down to the ground with that one. In fact, Kryptonic might get punished there for some aggression, but doesn't seem that way at all. Hira from the back rope's gonna get a couple of kills off with that. And that should be, I mean, they might get this basically to the golden checkbox by the time Black Bulls return. That's a long trek to get back to that golden checkbox.
Yeah, I think they'll definitely have one recontest, especially if they're not going to put 3 on cart. I definitely think that you know, this next fight is going to be last fight either way. Look at Red Sky's ult. You know, Black Bulls have 3, but Red Sky coming up on what's basically almost 5 ults here between the Baptiste, who will farm it really fast. They're going to open with the bomb.
Yeah, I love to see that, actually. The Immortality Field keeps a couple people alive there. As now the Blizzards from both sides here. Smurf and Hira trying to get value out of it. And that High Noon from the side angle. Fade just ruthlessly sending bullets through their heads, right? I mean, that's all you can really say about that. A nice shadow there from Kryptonic as well. Ends things off nicely here. It's just Mudaro to kill. And TC Red Sky bite back on a very grueling King's Row, and we've got a series on our hands, Kobe.
We do have a series, and you know, we had a series. We knew we were in for it. We knew it was going to be a slugfest once we saw the mirror. To see if this is, you know, this High Noon at the very end here. I can't remember which one this might be. It looks like it's going to be. So he noons, you know, through the window, but into the wall, into the shield, into the Immor. Just, you know, I don't care about your cooldowns. what cooldowns? You know, I know you have all these things that can stop me. I don't care. I'm going to go ahead and forge, you know, persevere through and get 2 off the Noon anyway, which really decided that fight. Again, we talked about before, you know, discipline in our own cooldown utilization. A big part of that, in my opinion, a big part of that is really tracking not just the enemy's ults, but the enemy's cooldowns. Things like Immor, things like Wall, things that can really negate your value. I mean, I mentioned trading cooldowns for walls. If I'm High Nooning and I know the May is tracking my High Noon because it's easier to track an ult than a cooldown, right? And she just throws a wall in my face every time. Well, I've effectively traded my Noon for the wall. That's not a winning proposition. That's not a winning proposition for me long term. Obviously, Yami, you know, might be the golden exception to that rule, killing 2 through all of the cooldowns there. But just in general, it's, you know, something that I think we need to see tracked, and you know, something that you and I, Toasty, haven't seen really in either match today so far.
Yeah, the Cassidy's definitely a big part of this, but as well, you mentioned there a little bit the Maze, right? They have been doing excellently throughout this entire series, both Hira and Smurf, and I did mention a couple of mistakes that Smurf made before, but I think you can overlook those, but it is just a bit of a... In fact, this is an interesting stat card, because, you know, the higher eliminations for Hira, but the higher damage for Smurf, it seems like one's going for utility, one's going for damage?
Yeah, and I think the big thing too is that Hira just didn't die. I mentioned before, I'm like, are they gonna kill Hira? He's in the back line, you know, and look at the deaths here. You know, Hira with a full 33% less deaths than Smurf. You know, and I think a little less damage, but Hira really trying to just stay alive and cause havoc. You know, and obviously it's working, right? Look at the limbs. She's got 20 more limbs or so, you know, 21 more limbs than Smurf. But less final blows. So really interesting. There's a playstyle diff here, but this is really, I think, what you're witnessing by Limbs is just by virtue of her dying 5 less times. You know, being alive is number one. The number one thing I work with on all my supports, ironically, May's like a support DPS. You know, I always work with my supports and say, what's the number one rule? Any DPS who I've ever coached will tell you it's survive. And that's what Hira's doing.
Yeah, absolutely. But with that, we will be going to a short break here. I'll wait for the teams to, you know, have a little bit of a bio break, etc. So don't go anywhere. Like I said before, we got a series on our hands. We'll be coming to you with more Overwatch shortly.
See you soon.
Healing is coming up from them. And then the Ana goes down after that, and it was just quick cleanup. Resignations and WidiWave really clutching out in the DPS department for SM, and they've got first capture crossing 15%. Ultimate's coming up online already. You're going to have Deadeye, and look, we've got Grab Dragons available for SM.
Oh, and they're gonna waste no time in committing it. The Graviton comes out. But it's not gonna get any.
Oh, excited! Thank you so much, Sidebjorn. Living up to the beautiful strats from More Esports. They're gonna go ahead and teleport directly onto the point, so they will be meeting them tantamount.
Nothing to try and eat it with, nothing to stave it off, no support ultimates. They've got a shatter. It might just have to be put in to keep the Bastion ult, but they don't care about this Bastion ult. They've got a Batiste.
Oh man, this is just nutty right now.
This is not something that you want to push in on, but it's going to be the bomb and the charges to Mansion Blix at 3! All of the 3 that you want, the Reinhardt, both of the supports, and this is the fight done already. Frost Dragon
comes.
It does pull out the Transcendence, but the anti-mid gets...
And here comes back on the Doomfist, not hacked up by the EMP critically. Starjummer has the Deadeye, no hack this time around. Starjummer gonna clean up the fight, get 3, get the electric cowboy for dancing effect.
This might be the best map for that in all of Overwatch as we see the whole shot and the headshot.
Bane with the silk thread shot, showing off.
Isn't gonna work well against the Ghost Confar as fine the but you're not gonna get through this.
I love watching teams that I haven't seen play before play. It's always thrilling.
Round 1. It really is. It's wild cards, you know, it's something you don't get to see at the higher levels. You know, everybody's, you know, at least been seen usually at lower level matches. So this is always a fun experience.
loved you the same this whole time, so tell me, what's on your mind? And I'm not here to hear you say you're fine. I can take the pain you hold.
They did find Cucumber, but he's gonna lift him.
Oh, Vulcan gets caught right into that, and Speed is gonna be
Oh,
able to follow
no.
up. Talk
You
about
let
jumping
him
over to the Doofus, talking about playing into the Doofus.
A manos de la bola. Ya son 3 las picks que conseguía el equipo de British Hurricane.
We need your help to decide our opinion outpost MVP of the match.
He's got a minute to kind of work some sort of pick against this Doc, and oh my good lord, he just got eviscerated.
Oh! He's not dead! Hey, now he's dead!
Holy cow, I've never seen someone get so aggressive.
Oh, catches their opponent outside of the build, and that is it.
It's Rocket League Wednesday on the High School Esports League home room. I am, as the kids say, vibing right now. This is just fumes for them, while Pharaoh rips shot after shot after shot of the back of them.
Good wall towards site, but it's already been broken, so they can't even get that spike down trustedly. Camera over towards site, and again, it's getting all that information. Ebot going absolutely massive!
Here in this map number 4 season, up on championship point, being up 2-1. Nifty dropped down to 19 HP. Joker with his M13 in hand is just trying to hold the angles.
Welcome back, everybody, to the series Black Bulls versus TC Red Sky. This one's been a banger so far, Coach Kobe, and honestly, it's been interesting, to say the least, because it doesn't feel like Black Bulls should have a point on that board right now, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't. It really doesn't. Especially when we compare the main tank stats, we pulled those up. We were talking about those. That the discrepancy there was insane. Usually, when you have that level of difference, there's something going on. But Black Bulls, really holding their own, and really interesting too. Again, we talked about how we might see some more. I had talked about. I'm not gonna kind of take you down with me, if you will. But I had mentioned several times about how I'm really just to see some more creative comps, right, out of some of these teams being high low, and yet what we saw was a mirror all the way through King's Row. So hoping, but however, we talk about Nepal, we did not see that. We saw a lot more creativity, and that was I would say much more of a lopsided game. Black Bulls 2-0s Nepal pretty decisively, and yet we're in overtime. Pushing King's Row on the mirror. So I really like to see kind of Black Bull get into what they're used to, and really start to bring out some of those some of the I guess the more creative or the more off meta comps to see if they can't continue to catch by surprise here. But moving on to Rialto for our escort map. I love Rialto. Definitely one of my personal favorite escort maps to coach and to cast and to play on. I think that they might have something up their sleeve here for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Rialto is a map where it's not just going to be one solid composition. I always see different teams running different things on Rialto. I've seen Arisa Sigma, I've seen Six Man, I've seen regular, just classic dive, I've seen Brawl, I've seen Farah, hybrid comps. It's very much a up in the air, and it's based on these team styles. If I had to guess, we could potentially see some ball compositions or some sort of dive play coming through from TC Red Sky. I mean, that is something they excelled at a little bit earlier on the poll. Granted, they did get kind of quote-unquote counter-comped, but that's where Black Bulls' 1 point came from. And to be fair, on the other compositions we've seen, which is basically just Brawl, but, it has seemed like TC Red Sky are just superior.
Yeah, that definitely, TC Red Sky, definitely, I think that they want to stay away from, well, obviously, I think they want to stay away from the Rhine-on-Rhine matchup. Not to take anything away from Draco, but Kryptonic is just so well enabled. Here we go. Here's Red Sky. This is what we're talking about. Red Sky, Kryptonic does list Ball as the main, and Hira does list Sombra as the main. So here's where we get to see, hopefully, some of that bag of tricks, and we'll see if Black Bulls is ready, as they're going to come out on a poke comp. I love their comp. I'm not sure if I think the Baptiste is great. I might have liked to see a Mercy here, potentially over either one of the supports. I love the Discord too, but I really think I would have liked to have seen a Mercy or even something else just to kind of amplify. You have so many good Mercy targets between the Hanzo and the Ashe, but we'll see if Black Bulls can maintain the distance away from this Ball Sombra Tracer that's going to get in their face.
Absolutely, and this Orisa Sigma, I did mention it was a potential possibility before, but I didn't actually expect to see it. This is something that I don't like. I think TC Red Sky, they get a boop onto 2 players, and that's pretty much it, right? They just need to segregate a couple players into a position where you can kill them off, and TC Red Sky, they're taking a lot of spam in that side room. You can see all the EU and Rod FD are having to be peeled for by TRJ with that Diva Matrix, and really it's all about this engage, right? Can you get in there? Can you get a Discord? But Yami is going to take out Rod FD, so the answer is no. You cannot get a Discord.
Yeah, they need to play tight. They need to continue to stay nice and tight because they're actually pretty ill-equipped to handle a full dive between Ball, Sombra, Tracer if it does come to that. You know, I don't know if I love the... I was just saying, I don't know if I love the Brig out of Alu's going to rotate to the Mercy. I think that will be helpful too. But if they stay tight, I don't know. But I do think Red Sky's comp is favored if they engage correctly.
They're on low ground now, the Black Bulls, sorry, are on low ground. This is very disadvantageous for them, because now they can just get pressured out from a bunch of different angles. That being said, Hera has fallen, so you're not going to see one of those massive dives be constructed just quite yet. It'll just be poking and prodding, and TRJ is on 1 HP, so they're going to have to rejuvenate themselves.
Yeah, Blackpool's doing a really nice job of keeping the distance here and kind of poking out what they can see. Unfortunately, that seems to be poor TRJ getting poked out by both tanks on the Diva quite a bit, as well as it looks like Pillsfoot getting poked at too. But Blackpool's doing a good job of maintaining the space. They need to stay out of it. If they let TCRS get in and make chaos like this right now, that's where things start to go downhill for them.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. Rod FD just shooting down from the high ground, dealing all the damage, and really had the Discords as well for Fade to do the follow-up. Talking about Fade as well. Look at that. Pulse Bomb takes out Flame Dragon. In fact, Smurf, though, retaliating with 2 kills. Discorded up, but manages to force away Hero right as they're about to die. It's actually looking really good here for Black Bulls. They came back into that really well. Oh my lord.
Yeah, Smurf carry, right? Smurf nuts here. We'd love to see the Hanzo. The other thing that we saw that was big is Mudaru on high ground. That's what happens when you have a BAP unchecked on high ground. You saw the Orisa get collapsed on by 4 people and stayed wide awake, stayed completely up the whole time because BAP was on high ground. Mudaru was unchecked, able to support the Orisa all the way out. Meanwhile, Smurf was fragging and got 2 by himself. Nice stabilization from Black Bulls.
Yeah, and the Black Bulls now, it's about 1:30 remaining and they can still rotate a ton of these ultimates. The EMP will end up coming through. Pillsford's the first one to fall. Didn't have a chance anyway, but I mean, look at the damage. Everyone on TC Red Sky contributing to that one. It'll be, you know, Kira and Rod FD getting their names on the kill feed. In fact, Rod FD more so. Definitely been doing a lot of work on the Zen here. And yeah, it's just a nice stagger kill as well onto Mudaru. That'll prevent any hope of recontest.
Yeah, and I mean, Rod FD says, "Oh yeah, Smurf 2 can play at that game, right? We can, I can poke from mid too." So you know, I definitely think that that's the Zen fight is interesting here. But even more so on this of TC Red Sky, when they dive, when they get fully in like that, they kind of somewhat leave Rod FD exposed out back. If Smurf's able to maintain a high ground, or Yami's able to maintain a high ground that's almost away from the main dive, they might have a decent opportunity to isolate kind of Rod FD out back and get a kill.
Yeah, and there's actually a lot of pressure onto Yami in the back there, but unfortunately for TC Red Sky, the Tracer has fallen. There's no chance of them getting in here to construct a dive, and there's actually a Gravitic Flux utilized. I guess it was necessary since Smurf fell, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a bit of an iffy ult.
Yeah, and yeah, I agree. But there's so much, you know, that's unlucky. But there's so much high ground here too for the, you know, for the hard poke, the Hanzo Ash, you know, of Black Bulls. And there's just the dive, I guess, engagements that you want are so limited. You really need to focus on trying to either extract them down or pull them back to that low ground position to really get some value difference. But otherwise, they're just going to do exactly like what you're watching, just like this, and it's going to be really hard for Red Sky to even get in.
I mean, Red Sky, they can't rotate across that bridge very easily, can they? So, now the Pulse Bomb into the midst of things. A panic trance from Pillsford to save their own life, but isn't enough to keep Mudaru safe and healthy. And now the card's going to get rolling. TC Red Sky rounding this corner, but Kryptonic has fallen. Smurf again, turning the tides of one of these team fights. You cannot keep doing this. Bomb into the back, though. TRJ looks, I was going to say looks to turn the tides, but again, Flame Dragon Yami, they are still here. They're still ever present, and they stabilize here on the staircase.
They do. Yeah, Yami and Smurf gotta chill, both of them. I don't know what you know, what coach said to them in between maps there, or what, you know, what's going on. They must have taken their G Fuel or something, but they are they are both evolved here, and they came to mean business, and they're just getting so much value out of these ranged DPS.
Yeah, and it really is just because TC Red Sky aren't respecting them, right? They're taking these very wide angles where, you know, Yami and Smurf are going to get kills. You can't expect them not to. Nice EMP, though. It catches all 6. There's no cooldowns to be had for Black Balls. TC Red Sky burst down Pilsfer immediately, and they're looking for some follow-up. This card's going to start rolling forward, as there are some ultimate investments, actually. A Transcendence traded for a Bongo here, as Hero will end up falling, and Fade is very low as well. A nice res, the Smurf falls, so it looks like TC Red Sky are going to end up winning this team fight, but there are still some opportunities for Black Balls to get back into this. Unfortunately, not really, though, as that Verdict Flux invested just a little bit too late. TC Red Sky cap up on point B.
Yeah, Fade going nuts here. You know, Fade is really kind of distracting, kind of creating that pullback effect I was talking about when they're on high ground. You have Fade coming in from the side, from the ground, that makes you turn and kind of reallocate resources away from the main poke, right? That linear poke that they're trying to achieve. Whenever you do that, well, obviously it weakens them. That allows opportunity for the rest of the team to kind of get in a little more clearly, and it allows Red Sky to kind of get some of the fights they actually want. So, you know, we're going to see Yami rotate to the Cassidy here as well. Again, still some serious range, and it looks like we're going to go more into Slugfest. Fade on the Symmetra could be interesting too.
They're going to be here late, though. They just swapped onto the Symmetra. They have to be sped back by Ollie EU. So if Black Bulls are able to take all that space, get the high ground near that choke, and now it's going to be his rotation coming through from TC Red Sky up the staircase, trying to get in behind them, but the Dragon Strike will cut through them, dealing some damage, helps take out Fade there. And it's about Kryptonic versus Hunter now. Can they... Well, sorry, which Reinhardt is going to win out the duel? And it looks like Hunter Draco. Smurf gets a couple of kills off there. Some nice dinks on that Hanzo. That's a 3k. Just tearing through them. And a minute remaining now, and Black Bull's looking to stabilize on the brawl.
Yeah, Black Bull's going nuts. Smurf going nuts. I don't know that I love pushing the right stairs there, especially when you have a Hanzo like Smurf, who, by the way, almost has Dragon again. But, you know, but you're pushing it, you know he's going to Dragon the stairs. You know you're going to have to commit Immor at the least. Overall, just really strong DPS play by Black Bulls as well. We're going to see some difference here with the Symmetra actually engaging with the team.
Oh, Yami, though, blown up right as they use that High Noon. And an attempt, I believe, a TP bomb there from TRJ, but Fade just wasn't prepared for it clearly, as they're going to get taken down as they pull out that mech. A nice attempt at a shatter from Kryptonic. Doesn't gain anything, however, but Hunter Draco isolated on the side lines. And that should be a win here for TC Red Sky. Going to start chasing up some of these stagger kills, and they should get it to the end. But can Black Bulls get this to overtime now? That is the question. Mudaro has a beat for the re-engage. They do not want to waste this opportunity. They come in with the goods, but that is a nice wall. And Blizzard coming through from TC Red Sky, stealing some players off the point, keeping themselves safe and healthy. And that's just a team fight that is unwinnable for Black Bulls, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it is. Between the turrets, the Blizzard, and the wall, it's just too much. You know, I mean, they got the shield for the bomb here. That's going to be it. They just got to clean up. Maybe we get some staggers if Madaro stays alive here. It looks like they're not going to. We are going to get the cap from TC Red Sky. But overall, just, you know, really strong. I wanted to comment really quick. You know, the way Smurf is rowing ults makes me really happy. And something we don't see lower in particular is kind of just, you know, we hold the ult for the perfect time, or we hold the ult for the shatter, or we hold the dragon for, you know, like the grab drag or whatever it is. Obviously, Smurf doesn't have a grab to work with, but Smurf gets dragon. The second he finds an isolation, or the second he finds a lane where he can use it to zone or use it to put damage in, he fires a dragon right away. It's allowed him to kind of row several dragons all at once, or use more dragons than he should by not holding on to the ults. It's one of the biggest catastrophic mistakes players make. So Smurf is driving more value by using quantity over quality. Obviously, he's gotten a couple of dragon picks, but the chaos it creates and the zoning it creates is not to be underestimated. So overall, great play there too by Red Sky at the end as they make the capture. I think Red Sky really kind of figured out the formula where they kind of faltered up front. And they're going to stay on the Tracer to see if they can't continue to pull back Red Bull or Black Bulls and create those kind of stretched out fights that they won so easily.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really I'm not really a fan of, well, I was going to say I'm not a fan of the ball comp into Ursa Sigma, but I'm a fan of it into this composition. I mean, you're going to be able to just hard commit onto the back line. Pilsver and Mudaru are going to have a hard time staying alive. And really on the offense here, Black Bulls are looking to build up Nano, build up your win conditions, and rotate them around.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I mean, we'll see while Smurf chooses to approach this too, because I think that what they want to do is when the ball tries to come in, their like Zen Brig is a really interesting support line choice for this. I think that what they want to do is almost ignore them and collapse on the main core and generate picks just by attrition. I would let Red Sky's comp play against them here, to your point as well, but we'll see how well they're able to execute.
Yeah, in fact, they've scouted out someone in the backline there. I believe that's not the Diva, the Tracer, but instead it's Rod FD that just gets 2 kills off onto the Monkey, onto the Mercy. And even though there are some trades coming back in, Fade and Ollie will get taken down. It does seem as if TC Red Sky is still stable.
Yeah, they definitely stabilized there. Again, it's the high ground control, right? You see where Hira is, you see where TRJ is. Rod needs to get up there with the rest of his team, but if they can hold the high ground and create these weird stagger engagements, especially that limit Ana sightlines, this is going to get forced off here. It's a great way to force them off. But that's going to be big for them. And you see in particular, Smurf really trying to, or as of Hira rather, really trying to maintain those platforms where they can.
It's all about these soft dives. As I say that, Hunter Draco just immediately hard commits and dies. So yeah, take my advice, soft dive please. But yeah, Smurf gonna get taken down as well, so DC Red Sky pretty happy with that. They didn't even have to use an ultimate there, right? They had the dragon, didn't even need to use it.
Yeah, they don't, and I mean, we'll see how long Hero holds Dragon here. That's what I was just saying about Smurf. He was just absolutely rowing ults to derive maximum value. Rather than set up the perfect engagement for Dragon, and maybe he gets 3 or 4, and he does, but I would love to see Hero, the second they re-engage, fire the Dragon and split the team, and then have the rest of your dive team go in on him. Dragon to split, dive to win. Oh, or do that.
And yeah, Pulse Bomb actually comes through into the back as Hira takes out Pilsfer, and now Fade up onto the high ground, has all of the sidelines. Just dealing a lot of that damage that you need. A Dragon Strike from Hira actually doesn't catch too much of the fact they get taken down by Yami, but again, it's alright because you've won the fight here for TC Red Sky.
Yeah, they have, and yet again, you see Flame Dragon jump. TC Red Sky really maximizing their comp. They're really stretching the fights. They're creating weirdo fights for Black Bulls, and they just don't know what to do. They add damage to the back. They pull resources back. They pull resource off the side. Fade is everywhere all at once. It's really making it hard for Black Bulls to target focus, and it's really allowing Red Sky to kind of focus on semi-ISO targets and derive maximum advantage.
Onto Draco right in there and looking to deal some damage. A nice Transcendence from Rod though will keep people alive, and Fade on the sidelines still poking from the periphery, and really there's nothing that anyone can do about it. I mean, other than that Tracer Door, which is actually quite deadly. You'll see the bomb come through there as Flame Dragon takes 2 out. Hira and PRJ gonna fall. That's a problem with those two playing together. They can be isolated just like that, taken down by a bomb. And there we have it, Black Bulls have got things moving.
Yeah, they do have things moving. Flame Dragon with the 3-piece there, 2 on the bomb and the 1 follow-up there as well. So, if that's the kind of thing they need, but they can't rely on bomb to bail them out for a 2-piece like that. Oh, and they're gonna get a contest here.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, TRJ just right in there underneath and gets a flux through. Fade and Flame Dragon gonna trade off picks here as that Dragon Strike will cut through the car and stop Black Bulls from taking all that presence. Yami's actually gonna get discorded up there, but instead, we're gonna take it now. It's just a bit of scrappy fighting going on here where I think Red Sky stabilized, and that is a lovely Perdition coming through. Smurf gonna get taken down by Rod FD with the volley. TC Red Sky is still happy about this. They can stay underneath this choke, and in fact, no. Yami, Flame Dragon come through with kills. Rod FD bailing TC Red Sky out right now, taking out Hunter Draco as well. Just single-handedly shutting down this dive by taking down the
Nano Mercy.
And you've nanoed the Mercy. Why did this always happen to me in GGEU casts on Rialto? There's another nanoed Mercy coming through here. And yeah, that doesn't seem like the greatest thing ever. It'll be Smurf going down again. Yami rezzed up here, so still able to make some impact, but there's not much going to be happening here. Madaro, Pilsfer, both going to fall. Yami comes through with duplicated flux, but it's not going to be enough, it looks like. Ollie EU will go down quite low, but the rally health is there, keeping them up and healthy. Flame Dragon actually comes through with the bomb, doesn't catch anything, just sends some people off, and yeah, this guy gonna be stabilizing here, just cleaning up.
Yeah, Fade going nuts. I mean, that was awesome. What a recontest by Red Sky, pushing through and just saying, nope, you don't have it yet. They ended up coming in, they engage with a rally, they engage with a pulse bomb to open, and then rally into the rest of the team on the objective. Really just went off. This is going to be the 2+1 here from Flame Dragon, but just what a great contest by TC Red Sky, really fighting the fight they wanted to get. They really got the engagements they wanted, they created the chaos they wanted, and you saw what it did to Black Bulls there. Just really it really proved to be the difference. And I think that this match is really interesting, Toasty, because every single match so far, every single map so far, if I had to pick MVPs in each one, I think they'd be different. Like in that game in particular, we saw Smurf go nuts on the Hanzo, but then we saw Fade, equally go nuts on Tracer on the other side. And it's really about manifesting the objective as the team, which is, create those linear stretched engagements. Don't let them poke. Don't let them fight all at once. Collapse onto them, and then kind of take what a lot of people and what a lot of coaches, I think, would look at their comp and say, that's kind of suboptimal. I'm not sure if I like that. But it's all about making it work. If you set an objective and then you know how you're going to achieve it and you execute it flawlessly, doesn't matter. You can win with any 6 people at the character select screen. So really love to see it. Really well played by Red Sky.
Yeah, and a contributing part to the to the success there for Red Sky as well was that support line, that back line. You had Ollie EU and Rod FD, the Zen and the Brigitte, and they were mad. I mean, come on, like Rod FD specifically was doing great on the Zen, but I don't think we're giving enough credit to Ollie EU for actually keeping Rod alive. There were so many times where Rod should have just straight up died to like a Tracer or some sort of backline presence from Yami, but they were kept alive because Ollie EU is there with the armor packs, with the proc inspires. Like it's brilliant.
It is brilliant, and I mean that makes the Zen undieable, right? Put a bring on him, that'll do it.
Yeah.
So, look at the offensive assists on a Rod there. That's money. That's value.
That's just off Discord, isn't it? Yeah.
That's what you're looking for. That's the Zen getting maximum value. Had a decent amount of healing too. I imagine a chunk of that is from the Transcendences as well. But the damage as well is just kind of spammed. It wasn't exactly what I think most of us would consider an optimal comp to be spammed at by a Zen. It's not like you're on double shield and you have a Zen that can just melt shields, which Zen's really effective at. So I think they played, Rod played really well in particular, and we saw that one really beautiful prediction shot on the Tracer. Of course, us with the overlays on, we could see the Tracer going to peak, but Rod could not. You have to remember that. So just a really perfect, kind of 4 burst right into Tracer's head. Just Rod really dialed in and playing well, and we love to see when Zen makes it work. But typically you think 2 supports to enable really 1, which is Zen, and make sure he doesn't die or make sure he dies as little as possible. You don't think really is maximum value for supports, but here it worked out for them. It worked exactly as they drew it up.
Yeah, and you see in the death counts as well. I mean, yeah, Rod has died more than Ollie EU, but you're Zen, you're going to die more, right? Ollie EU has just not been dying as much. 2 deaths, which I think were both on the defense, if I'm not mistaken. So it's very easy to stay alive here if you're Ollie EU on the Brigitte. You have the armor packs, you have the rally, you have the procs. There's tons of stuff you can do to keep yourself up, and really having that presence, having that aliveness in the team fight, that presence in the team fight, I mean, it helps keep Rod FD up, but it also just helps stabilize the rest of your team. You're putting out heals, not as much as Rod was, but like you say, most of those were from the Transcendence.
Well, ironically, too, you said you used aliveness, right? You laughed and corrected yourself, but what number one rule of support? I just said it last match, right?
Stay alive.
Stay alive.
Yeah.
That's number 1. So that's exactly what's happening here. And
I've learned something today.
Yeah, well, that's if nothing else, live, and that's absolutely what we saw. We saw a pretty decisive victory out of TC there. And it looks like we're gonna move into Volskaya for our assault map. Again, another interesting map that I think could facilitate several different comps, in particular out of the team that's shown us to be more propensity, or have more of a propensity to gravitate towards like the Sombra Tracer ball comps. There's a lot of interesting engagements and kind of slingshots that ball can do on this map. I'd be looking for TC to be sticking with the recipe that works. Pull them out backwards, create a non-linear kind of stretched, weird, chaotic invasion or engagement. Invasion works too.
It basically is, yeah.
Engagement, and then kind of use the superior hero skill, the comfort pick to kind of generate value, generate picks, and win fights.
Yeah, absolutely. And Volskaya is the map to do that on, really. I mean, you can play the ball comps here. You're generally going to see, I think, a lot more standard dive, though, and Black Bulls did try, I believe, to play that, but I think the problem was Yami and Smurf were getting into the back and dealing damage and pressuring, but this comes back, and this is a full-on loop back all the way to Nepal, where we were saying Smurf's playstyle it's just not aggressive, right? Smurf is the type of player to sit back and support the rest of their team through utility, and Tracer is not the type of hero where you can do that in a Monkey, Echo, Mercy dive situation. You cannot.
Yeah, and we're seeing you're seeing TC's defense comp here is really interesting. You got the Ball Sigma, and then you have and then Tracer Hanzo. So again, I wonder if it's going to be the same thing. I wonder if they're identifying kind of what we're talking about here, which is use the Tracer and the Ball. We're going to put the Aliyu and Rod on the Zen Brig, of course. We love it. And we're going to use Tracer and Ball to kind of push the fight out backwards when they engage, and then we're going to take Hira spam damage from the front, TRJ as a shield, and kind of make weirdo fights happen for them. We'll see how it works.
We shall see, and this angle's really good to hold for Hira and TRJ. You can deny some rotations that might come through from Black Bulls. You can really just put a stopper in their plans. As TC Red Sky, they'll be backing up a little bit here, though. They don't want to directly brawl against that. I mean, Black Bulls, they are taking space very, very swiftly. The rotation actually is still somehow coming through. TC Red Sky are running away. Black Bulls are on their heels. I mean, come on. They're still not getting this speed to catch up to them. And now, finally, the wall off TRJ and get them. I hope that was worth it. They've gone full circle at this point. But
Yeah,
that'll be a team fight win for them. So.
Yeah, they're playing tag, just chase them around the map. You know, really interesting. We talked about lanes before. I'm not gonna beat it to death. I promise I won't put you to sleep. But the interesting that TC chose to try to control high ground lane there with a sub default, and also flank with the Ball Tracer staged off to the right. You know, Black Bulls, instead of kind of fighting on default or saying, hey, we're gonna take default and allow TC Red Sky to control high ground and flank and them only control main, that's how they would have lost. Instead, they chased him up to high ground, said, nope, we're going to take high ground from you, and then we're going to take main from you, so you don't actually get anything but the flank. They got the wall and they succeeded really well kind of rotated and called by Black Bulls.
Oh, that's a lovely Buplo Hunter. Draco on the low ground has to back up before they are completely shredded by the damage. Hira, though, is going to get taken down, so Yami really doing some good work here on the Cassidy, and comes through onto the high ground as well, just wants to try and rush into the backline. Completely ignoring the Tracer, by the way, because what can Faith do? I mean, look at them go. Kryptonic gets a pal drive in, though, and that'll take out Pilsner. Yami's going to try and turn things around with a high immune here, but going to catch the Tracer and the Fora. That is unfortunate from Hira. Didn't even realize as Yami lands a third shot as well onto Rod. And this is a blitzing time bank coming through from Black Bulls. Hira gonna try and clutch up, but can't really do much in that scenario against a Diva, a Cassidy, a May that's thinking you up as well. I mean, this is just it.
Yeah, they might get a touch out of it because this guy does have the ball. They will get some staggered contestants here, but Black Bull's just mowing them down as they go. Huge shatter, good minds. There's the bomb. This might. Oh, and Doom doesn't get on. Here, it doesn't get on.
Yeah.
Cardinal mistake. He's got to step off the ledge before he slams. Without doing that, throws him up and takes him out of the box. That is the point. Really unlucky. I think he probably missed it by a couple meters there. But like you said, the time bank, 4 minutes and 40 seconds. What a great attack by Black Bulls, and like I said, almost completely ignoring the default lane, deciding instead to chase TC all the way around the high ground. And you know, they say high ground works. Well, time bank speaks for itself.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you compared it to tag, I would think it's more Ringer on the Rosie, right?
Yeah,
what are we playing?
correct.
Squid Game? Like, what is this?
Right? That's a Squid Game Overwatch, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, so, you know, really interesting. We'll have to see, you know, what Black Bulls chooses to do here. They're gonna go with Old Faithful. You know, they're gonna go with the King's Road comp. We're gonna see TC Red Sky break out the Sombra, break out the Ana on Rada instead of the Zen. So we're gonna see TC Red Sky try for some staggered engagement, some different kind of engagements here. We might fade on the Doomfist. I'm hoping we get to see that actually, and they don't actually rotate off of that. I would love to see some Hack Fist in action, especially into Rhine May. I think it'd be really strong if they can actually Hack Fist and ISO targets the way that they should. So far, you know, this map we've seen high ground engagements. I'll leave my my color section here by saying that one of my favorite tweets from Pro Overwatch player on the Overwatch's 5-year anniversary was, "Happy 5 years." Of us still trying to figure out how to attack Volskaya point A optimally.
Yeah, I mean, it is a hard point, though. I'll give you that. But Black Bulls, they did it pretty well, and they have to defend this now, which is... I mean, this is a situation, again, where they're playing this... They're on the middle pillar. No pillar, the house, you know what I mean? What is this? What is this positioning?
Bunker. Yeah,
bunker, there we go. But what's the positioning? Like, what?
Yeah.
It's nice, though. It's a control hub. I like it.
Yeah, it's actually a really good hold spot. It's one of my favorites. You know, we talked about Rhine being the choke instead of choke. They don't know that obviously these Red Sky's going to bring in a sim and blow up their plan. But or maybe not. They're gonna jump down and engage right in the main lane. Hunter Draco,
Okay,
huge pin.
that's a pin from Hunter Draco, I'll tell you that much. Takes down Hero in an instant. Does pay for it with their life, but look at that, 94% on the shatter for Hunter Draco. Once they return from spawn, well, there'll be some earth-shattering consequences, we'll say that much. As TRJ is going to get frozen up here, might even get taken down, barely being kept alive, but Rod not able to do it even enough there. Yami actually taken down middle of the high noon, so a bit unfortunate there as Black Bulls are slowly dropping their spaghetti, pasta, whatever it is. They are dropping it very much right now.
Yeah, that was a huge little triple headshot there. Ooh, looks like TC Red Sky. Yeah, that was a huge. There's the Blizzard. We're committing an awful lot to this. I'm not sure how we're gonna. Yeah, we're gonna get the freeze, but I'm just not sure. There's very little value to follow up. I don't love the Blizzard, maybe? But. Yeah, what? Yeah, it's gotta be. Oh, maybe not.
No shot.
Maybe it was a fat finger, but, you know, really incredible triple dink by Rob to rob Yami of his high noon. And they just pushed through, and somehow, you know, Red Sky, if you're Red Sky, you gotta be really excited about it. You just pulled the Blizzard, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And now this TP will come through. Here's the TP rotation we were talking about. And they laid down the shatter. Hunter and Flame caught out by that. They're trying to stay alive here and keep everyone else up. And Yami's doing all the work. 2 kills. Looking to maybe get some more as well. They are just uncontested on this high ground. I mean, you've got to do something about that, Cassidy, on an angle like that.
Yeah, Yami's mad. You know, Yami got the high noon robbed. Yami's upset. He said, no, we're not doing this, right? And you know, despite the Fade TP coming in there, you know, they were ready for it that time, and they fought. Yami went absolutely nuts. They left him alone. He ended up dropping at the end to kill Fade, but yeah, I mean, they kind of, in my opinion, squandered what could have been a little bit of an advantage for him there.
Absolutely, and it looks like TC Red Sky want to take a very direct rotation. They're right up into their faces. Black Bull's going to back up, give up a little bit of space. I think that's a smart idea here. You want to bait them into the shatter. Now, TRJ into the back, uses the bomb. In fact, this is a nice flying Hero, freezing up the Baptiste. Oh, a missed wall though, that is so unfortunate. Oh, Hero, suboptimal May play. I'm a May Gunnasaur myself, I'll tell you that much, and that was not good.
So close, so close. You know, they obviously were fighting the BAP in the room and then heard the high noon, dip out to try to wall the high noon. You know, obviously here missed just a little bit behind. It's okay, it happens. You know, at the end of the day, it wasn't a big deal. It didn't cost them much, but yeah, definitely not what Hero had intended. Went for the Hero play, but didn't quite get there. I promise I won't make that joke again.
Oh my god, yeah, that's not one. No, that's payback for my Squid Game joke, we'll say that much. But yeah, that's a fake TP actually. It forces the positioning. As now the slam comes through, it catches onto TRJ, but everyone's forced off at the point. The Blizzard from Hero is very smart, redeeming themselves before. As now the slam will come through, Hunter Draco gonna get bursted down and Fade with the Symmetra beam, doing so much damage, able to use that wall across the point as well, keeps everyone up. And now it's going to be an attempt at a recontest, but Flame Dragon can't even get on there in time.
He can't.
Off.
Yeah,
yeah, that's a pretty nice time bind considering the TC Red Sky were, you know, kind of destroyed on their defense.
Yeah, well, Sky is the kind of map, right? It's either like 2-0 or like 8-7, right? So I'm hoping we don't go all the way to that. But I don't know if you saw my absolute favorite part of that fight. You know, I think that Flame Dragon might kind of be living rent free in Hera's head there. I don't know if you saw how Hera used Blizzard, but Hera walked onto the point, stared straight at her own feet, and then pressed Q for the Blizzard. Flame Dragon having already eaten 2 or 3 of them today out of here. Hera said, "Not this time. It's going off. We need it." So go ahead and put it right at her own feet on point. You know, Fade obviously went nuts between the Fade and the May and the Blizzard on point. It was just too much CC and too much laser, too much non-hit scan utility damage coming through there for Black Bulls to even get back on. And like you said, really well done by TC to keep them in this game.
Yeah, and the good thing there was that they kind of knew that Flame Dragon couldn't eat it because they were on the high ground. They were trying to, they were trying to do something about the TP, but it was a fake TP. So Black Bulls, TC Red Sky, pretty smart engage plan there. And really now, I think they just keep running with the ball here. I think that it's the best shot. They can't play any of that Sigma stuff because, you know, you'll just get ran onto by Black Bulls.
Yeah, I wonder what TC Red Sky's teleportation plan is here, because I think the first time they wanted to teleport actually right to the bunker, and they weren't able to do that. So we'll see what they do here.
Yeah, I mean that Black Bulls are playing smart positioning, right? This part of the map can, like, from here you can access basically anywhere other than that back left high ground, which isn't really that important because are TC Red Sky really going to rotate up there? Probably not.
Go right into the first fight.
Nice rotation. Yeah, look at that. That's a nice wall. Segments a couple people off there. Hira trying to keep themselves alive. Might even have to ice block. No, actually, they're kept alive by the rest of the team. But this is a very scrappy fight. I mean, look at the two sides just at each other's throats like animals. And Hunter Draco gonna back up a little bit. Doesn't want to go too aggro. In fact, backing up towards the points, so giving up a lot of that space. Cryptonic waiting for that shield to regenerate, and now deciding to engage. A nice Matrix Fire Strike eaten up by Flame Dragon, so not going to get too much value. But look at where Hunter Draco is forced into that corner. That is so sad to watch, as it's a nice wall there coming through as well. A nice wall, actually, from Smurf, actually. Gets stops the rotation coming through into the Blizzard. So that'll end up being a Shatter coming through. Cryptonic lays 3 down. An attempted to retaliation from Hunter Draco, but taken down by Oli EU. And yeah, I mean, TC Red Sky, they're pretty happy they're able to get this first point cap up, because that was a close fight.
It was, and they got a lot of value out of Black Bulls. Like you said, they pulled the Blizzard out of Smurf. I don't think they knew it. They pulled the wall out of the Baptiste. You know, they pulled the Shatter out of Hunter. I really think that I really love the way Cryptonic is patient. You know, Cryptonic could have, I think he had a chance where he could have shattered. My brain thought shatter when he saw the BAP alone in between their wall. I would have solo shattered the BAP just to knock him out and probably take the advantage. I love the way he ended up being more patient with it. And then on top of that, you know, he waited for the Blizzard to end and then went ahead and got 3 with a shatter to drive more value and ultimately win the fight.
And here we go. Nice rotation from TC Red Sky. So taking all that space that they did before, and they have the TP into the back again if they want to do it, and they're going to do that. A nice attempt there, and an eat actually onto Hira's Blizzard, like you said. I mean, living rent-free, right? Nice high noon as well from Yami. Takes our rods, so there's no shot of TC Red Sky turning this one around. Fade will try. You know, Fade will be Fade, but unfortunately not enough there for TC Red Sky. And yeah, Black Bulls going to stabilize here. They'll stop that push right where it stands. 5 seconds remaining, no one's going to touch, and that is about that. So 1 point is all that Black Bulls need to get, and then they'll have an opportunity to maybe win out. Well, not win out, but make it evened up in the series.
Yeah, and I mean, Flame Dragon, Flame Dragon is feeling it. Flame Dragon is absolutely. If what I said wasn't prophecy before about Flame Dragon being in Hira's head, especially on the Mei Diva matchup. The Flame Dragon is absolutely in Hira's head now.
It's been all series as well.
Yeah, Hira knows that's number 3, I think. Number 3 that we could, at least that I could track. And Flame Dragon also DMs really intelligent. 4? It might be 4. I know there were 2 on King's Row. I might be missing one somewhere. Regardless, whether it's 3 or 4, you know, it's just Flame Dragon is really intelligent with the DM. You know, we saw a minute prior to that, you know, eat the Fire Strike through the portal. You know, so there's some, you know, which obviously is a massive damage deny. There's some really intelligent DM use out of Flame Dragon. It's not just when Blizzard, but that tells me that Black Bulls is really ult tracking effectively as well. You know, I think they're still getting fights turned. TC Red Sky is still doing everything they can, but Black Bulls, being the team we talked about, discipline and communication, ult tracking is part of that. So, you know, them tracking the ults for Flame Dragon to know, I have DM for Blizzard, I have DM for Blizzard, and then successfully executing eating the Blizzard, just so strong if you have a Diva player that can think like that.
Flame Dragon's certainly been a big difference maker for Black Bulls in those scenarios, as well as everyone else on the team. I mean, they're all doing pretty well.
Absolutely.
And honestly, if they win this map and we go to a map 5, I mean, I got scrims in 20 minutes. I might have to stick around for this instead, because this is a banger of a series, to tell you that much. But this is a very spammy composition now.
For sure, and this is what we expected from the 2 4-on-4 teams, right? We're going to see Red Sky rotate to the Echo, Orisa, Sigma. You know, we're going on hard poke with some flight. They're going to say, no, we're not going to let Black Bulls chase us around the map like they did the first time. The Echo's going to spam them from above. And it looks like they've succeeded in kind of ISOing them to one area of the map. So I think their plan is kind of adapted and has been executed well so far.
Oh, look at those mines. So much damage coming through. An immediate execution onto kills for Then will be Smurf that falls next. Nice execution. I like this from TC Red Sky. You know, they're waiting for the rotation. They're using all the utility to prevent the rotation. Although Rod and Kryptonic have fallen, as I'm saying that. So Black Bulls still have an opportunity to get back into this. Both Baptistas are down, but they'll be back pretty soon for both sides. Black Bulls are stepping onto the point, but look at this crossfire. They can't step out of this cubby now because, well, there's a lot of angles to really take into account as Yami on the Cassidy is trying to force out Hira. A nice flash onto the enemy ball, Kryptonic, but doesn't gain too much. It's just all the EU and Fate that go down pretty much simultaneously. Black Bulls should be winning this one out.
Yeah, great shots out of Yami. I mean, at the end of the day, I think TC Red Sky did do a good job of kind of creating more of the fight they wanted, which is not allowing Black Bulls to do what they had done in the previous attack, which is just push them around the map and take them. At the end of the day, what I don't love, they still fell off the high ground. The second they fell off the high ground, Black Bulls dropped on top of them, you know, played Hulk Smash, killed 3 or 4 of them, and it was just too late. And now Black Bulls has a hell of an economy advantage heading into their attack on second map, only needing 1 tick.
And we're guaranteed a map 5 now. It's a draw or a win for Black Bulls, so let's go. They're going to go with the beat engage. In fact, everything engaged, so I say. 4 ultimates thrown into the midst of things, and it should get a lot of value there. You get rid of the mech, you get rid of Hira. That's really nice now as TC Red Sky is left scrambling, wondering how on earth they turn this one around. And nice Reddit into the back end from Mudaro trying to go for Rod, but unfortunately for Black Bulls, actually 2 of their players are down, and TC Red Sky are re-engaging with Punch. Look at that. The Sim Beam as well, going to take down Flame Dragon there, as they use the bomb, so they still want to invest into this fight for some reason. They'll remech, but they're going to get bursted down from immediately again. And yeah, Black Bulls sent back in. Nice stabilization there from TC Red Sky.
Yeah, Black Bull's kind of feeding towards the end of it. If I'm being 100%, if we're being objective here, you know, I think that they dropped 4 ults to start. I think they just thought they were gonna walk in and press Q and win, and that was gonna be it. Clearly not the case. You know, TC Red Sky did a good job of predicting the economy advantage and predicting the ults, playing back at them when they knew they were disadvantaged, and obviously they were able to stabilize. And you know, now we're going into a minute. This could very well be last fight, depending how quickly we get in here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Black Bulls, they're again playing this exact same rotation on the high ground, but a flying shatter! A TP shatter comes through, it catches 2 members. It will be a hand in from Yami to take out the immortality field. Okay, not sure how that's happened, but Yami's gonna get taken down here as Hira looks for a punch into the enemy team and does manage to get a bit of disruption in. So Black Bulls, their plan went entirely askew there. It was a brilliant shatter that came through from Kryptonic. In fact, they are taking out all the EU, and Kryptonic stunned up there. Unfortunately, not enough, and Black Bulls are on their last legs here. Could be a draw.
Yeah, it looks like it might be. They have 30 seconds to engage. Black Bulls does have the 2 ultimates coming in. They may end up with a beat as well, depending on how long the fight actually goes. We'll see how much value they can get out of Blizzard. They have to do something about the support ults from Red Sky.
Yeah, indeed, and really, I mean, TC Red Sky, they've got all the utility they need to hold this one. Black Bulls are relying on a Shatter and a Blizzard. Smurf's gonna have to not get this one eaten up. It comes through, as well as a Shatter that stuns a few people up. There we go. Rod and Kryptonic are going to fall here. Black Bulls pressing forward. A nice pin onto Hira as well, right as they land for the Meteor Strike. And the beat just for the icing on the cake. They've just got to get this one tick coming through. The Black Bulls are taking us to a map 5. This is a banger of a match, and I'm not complaining.
Yeah, Black Bulls said, "No, we're not drawing. we're not doing that. You know?
Not settling."
Yeah, we're not doing that. We're gonna make this into we're gonna go into a real overtime match here for map 5. And you know, I love what they did. You know, it was a massive shatter. They forced the Blizzard out into a kind of a weirdo spot. I mean, not even mean to get the Pharah there, but does, and turns and clicks the Yami locked in right there. But the you know, I really think that I love where they forced the Blizzard to happen. I love the shatter. It was huge. They got in quickly. You know, he did come up with the beat. You know, LU did come up with the beat to slam the beat, just to lock in the fight and really label it. And that was probably, ironically, one of the most decisive fights we had seen from Black Bulls on all of Vizcaya. When they needed it, you know, they were able to pull it out. So love the clutch gene.
Yeah, absolutely. And in all reality there, I think one of the main difference makers there was Yami as well. So many of those team fights were dictated by a first pick coming through from Yami on the Cassidy. And really, if you can play on the high ground, if you can use his angles like that, it's just brilliant. I mean, you can shoot down, you can get the final blows, the eliminations. You see this here. I mean, look at those stats. You're getting a lot of damage done. You get all that weapon accuracy, 57%. I mean, come on.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, and this was kind of playing in weird spots. I wouldn't say that Yami was like overall very uncontested, right? We saw Yami get first picked a couple of times. We saw Yami get the high noon denied by the Baptiste. This wasn't just a spectacular, insanely uncontested game where Yami went nuts. This is Yami fighting through adversity, to still kind of deliver the 14 final blows. So that's pretty big, just getting those clicks on the end, getting 2 and 3 pieces, and really kind of just laying in damage to the team. As you can see, 6 Deadeyes. We did go kind of into rounds 4 and 5 there, so we were expecting to see a little more ultimates, but still not a ton of deaths. Yami just deriving a lot of attritional value, and I think when they needed him, he came up big.
Yeah, absolutely. But with that, I mean, we've got a map 5, so we'll be going to a short break here, but do not go anywhere. You will not want to miss the climax of the series. We're going to Busan after the break.
All right, see you guys soon.
They did find Cucumber, but he's going to lift him.
Oh, Vulcan gets caught right into that, and Speed is going to be
Oh,
able to follow
no.
up. Talk
You
about
let
jumping
him
over to the
do.
Doofus, talking about playing into the Doofus.
A manos de la bola. Ya son 3 las picks que conseguía el equipo de British Hurricane.
We need your help to decide our opinion outpost MVP of the match.
He's got a minute to kind of work some sort of pick against this Doc, and oh my good lord, they just got eviscerated.
Oh! He's not dead. Hey, now he's dead.
Holy cow! I've never seen someone get so aggressive.
Oh, catches their opponent outside of the build, and that is it.
It's Rocket League Wednesday on the High School Esports League home room. I am, as the kids say, vibing right now. This is just fumes for them, while Pharaoh rips shot after shot after shot of the back of them.
Good wall towards site, but it's already been broken, so they can't even get that spike down trustedly. Camera over towards site, and again, it's getting all that information. He-Bot going absolutely massive!
Here in this map number 4 season, up on championship point, being up 2-1. Nifty dropped down to 19 HP. Joker with his M13 in hand is just trying to hold the angles.
You think you're too far, but I'm where you are, I said I won't leave your side. They left you bare, but I'm begging you still in my eyes for you. Yeah, I give my life. And I'm not here to hear you say you're fine. I can take the pain you hold inside. I wanna know, wanna see it. Can I feel your kryptonite? Can't get this off my mind. Does it only control you? Let me in, I'll help you out. I won't lose you this time.
Healing that was coming out from them. And then the Ana goes down after that, and it was just quick cleanup. Resignations and Witty Wave really clutching out in the DPS department for SM, and they've got first capture crossing 15%. Ultimate's coming up online already. You're going to have Deadeye, and look, we've got Grab Dragons available for that test.
Oh, and they're going to waste no time in committing it. The Graviton comes out. It was there, but it's not going to get any.
So excited. Thank you so much, Sidebjorn. Living up to the beautiful strats from More Esports. They're gonna go ahead and teleport directly onto the point, so they will be meeting them tantamount.
Nothing to try and eat it with, nothing to stave it off, no support ultimates. They've got a shatter, it might just have to be put in to keep the Bastion ult, but they don't care about this Bastion ult. They've got a Baptiste!
Oh man, this is just nutty right now.
This is not something that you want to push in on, but it's going to be the bomb and the charges to Mansion Blix at 3. All of the 3 that you want, the Reinhardt, both of the supports, and this is the fight done already. Frost Dragon
comes.
It does pull out the Transcendence, but the anti-nade gets...
And here comes back on the Doomfist. Not hacked up by the EMP critically. Starjummer has the Deadeye. No pass this time around. Starjummer gonna clean up the fight. Get 3. Get the electric cowboy. We're dancing a theft.
This might be the best map for that in all of Overwatch as we see the whole shot and the headshot.
Bane with the silk thread shot. Show it off.
Isn't gonna work well against the Ghost Confar as fine because but you're not gonna get through this.
I love watching teams that I haven't seen play before play. It's always thrilling.
Round 1.
It really is. It's wild cards. You know, it's something you don't get to see at the higher levels. You know, everybody's at least been seen usually at lower level matches. So this is always a fun experience.
Welcome back, everybody, to the GitGud EU games for tonight. We are at the climax of this very long-winded, very grueling series between these two teams, Black Bulls and TC Red Sky. For a moment, a bit in the series, we thought TC Red Sky were feeling themselves. They were feeling dominant. But Black Bulls came back for Sky, played the Brawl composition. Just huge change in pace for them, and now we're heading on to Busan.
Yeah, now we're off to the races here with Control on Busan. This is map 5, so everyone's on 10. Everyone's dialed in, and I think we were talking about it during the break, Toasty. You brought it up. Interesting. We're on Busan with the ball, so we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes with the ball out of TC in particular. See if they can't use that to leverage what's I think pretty colloquial known as a pretty good ball map, right? So we'll have to see how it goes with the ball, Sombra. Control. We're back to Bulls 2-0 though. It's the only game that I think, the only match so far, or map so far, that was pretty decisive for Black Bulls. So we'll have to see what happens, but this one should be good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're going on to Control. There's going to be a lot of varied styles. I've said this the entire time through, but there's opportunities to play a lot of different things here. I'm not expecting to see anything else than Ball, though, from TC, right? They definitely seem like that's the prime kind of composition, other than the Brawl, which they were doing pretty well on in King's Row as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that if they want to mirror that, but it just didn't seem too good for them of Skye. So we'll end up seeing what happens. I mean, we'll be starting off here on Shrine, I believe this is, which isn't too bad for Brawl, isn't too bad for Ball either.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can kind of do a little bit of both, but I'll be interested to see what TC Red Sky actually comes out with. We're going to see the ball. They're going to lock the Symmetra. They've been playing, really been playing Fade, and Symmetra's been going to work. We see what they actually end up with here. They might go with a tried and true comp that had them dominate Rialto. It looks like they're kind of going to move into a slight variation of that. Meanwhile, Black Bulls on Old Faithful, right? Flame Dragon said, I'm on Diva, I'm not going anywhere for this. In case Hira pulls out that Mei, they know that that's what works for them. They are going to rotate to the Symmetra. So, again, this is all going to be about that first hold. See who gets it first.
Yeah. And it looks like a swap of the Symmetra. No, they're going to be sticking on the Symmetra. Oh, no, they are. They're going to the Cassidy. And Yami's going to be late to the fight, which is a little bit unfortunate, but should be fine. I think Black Bulls will have them there in time. And really, this is about just finding a target and just running on them. Black Bulls need to be quick with their decision-making here. They see everyone else on that far right side, but can they actually get to them in time? It looks like they're going to start trying. They're making their trek over. Like I said before, they're playing tag, but can they get there in time? TRJ is going to fall. Pilsver traded out, so the Baptiste and the Sigma are gone out of both teams here. This is, again, going to be one of those scrappy fights. Both Hunter Draco's shield going down. I don't think it's going to go too well here for Black Bulls. They're completely exposed from many different angles. And it looks like, I mean, unless Hira and Fade, they've both fallen, so there's less DPS presence. And it looks like maybe Black Bulls are coming on top of this one. But Kryptonic is staying alive, going to get the power drive through, dealing some of that damage. And that DMAC was really critical on the Flame Dragon. This is going back and forth. I cannot call who's going to win this. It looks like finally Black Bulls are in control there.
Yeah, Black Bulls do get the control. You saw there for a minute they didn't get the follow-up, and we're still poking. They are getting controls. We did see Fade rotate the Tracer right off Rift too. Didn't stay on the sim as well. So we did see Kryptonic right off the bat poked out the back of the fight, got the Baptiste, gave him the advantage. Unfortunately, TC wasn't able to follow up on that, but they're doing exactly what they want to do again, kind of pull them away from the main fight, dedicate resources into a different linear lane, and see if they can't dominate from multiple lanes. Overall, a really good kind of first fight, way to stick it out by Black Bulls.
Yeah, and they're actually playing near this drum, which I think is the wrong decision. You gotta really be playing up close and personal, taking as little spam as you can, basically. But there's a pulse bomb that comes in. Pillsbury going to use the immortality field to keep some people alive, and there's a lot of disruption going in there, but Black Bulls are okay and healthy throughout the end of it. Now they're going to have to try and engage, but they're all low, and here's the beat engage. Megara's going to get in there, but that Transcendence isn't going to be enough to keep TRJ alive. So much burst damage, and yeah, TRJ is going to stay alive just temporarily. They are going to get taken down towards the tail end of this, though, however, as Pillsbury's going to get end up falling. So again, Pillsbury falling first in these fights, and Hero and Fade now going to be the ones to get the kills and do the damage. But this freeze onto Kryptonic could be critical. They get the wall through, but it's not enough. They fumbled the wall.
Yeah, a massive immortality out of Pills, massive. Not only did it stop the incoming damage from the pulse bomb, but it also stopped Hero's dragon as well. So that was a high value immortality that allowed them to kind of stay in the fight and chase it all the way through.
Yeah, and here we go. Fade and Hero right in there, getting the damage through, and Black Bulls, they didn't follow up on Kryptonic, which I think was their main, falling point there. I think they had to kill Kryptonic in that one situation, but they didn't quite manage to. And Fade and Hero just popped off that fight.
Yeah, here we go, back and forth. There's Kryptonic, Fade and Hero, those two going nuts. Fade's been doing some work on Tracer all match long, so I think they got some problems in the ball, and Fade in particular. We'll have to see what they come up with, but Red Sky retains some ultimate economy here. They're going to keep Trance, which I'd like to see if they save the Trance. It depends, but they're nowhere near Blizzard, so they could commit early with just Trance and try to win the fight outright, which might be the approach I would take here.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go, Fade in the pulse bomb. They could try and use it, but there's a Gravitic Flux into high noon. Yami catches Kryptonic with that from the top ropes, but Fade coming in with the pulse bomb ever so slightly, but no, actually catches onto Hunter Draco. They back up into it, and Fade is just going ham right now. So many kills!
Oh, man.
Oh, my lord, and that is a fight win. Oh, that's not even a 2C fight win, that is a Fade fight win.
Yeah, that is a Fade fight win. That's a Wendy's 4-for-4 special right there. That was nuts. That was Fade. Fade kind of does get in and does get a lot of the cleanup kills. We saw him poke out the McCree afternoon, poke out the BAP after the fact. I actually love, I think, what Fade tried to do with the bomb. I don't know if the Diva was intentional. I think they were hoping that Hunter Draco might back up into it, being half health from the other side of the drum. Regardless, Fade's on 10.
Here we go, and Fade in the back, looking for more damage, but there's a shatter. It comes through Rod, and TRJ gonna get caught by that, and support line is completely gone. Pillsbury just ignoring Fade on the Tracer. I mean, that's all you can do at this point, right? They are gonna get taken down, in fact, at the end of things, but unfortunately for TC Red Sky, Fade's gonna fall, so there's their carry presence gone. Kryptonic gonna fall as well, taken down by a little bit of flash from the Cassidy. And that should just be, well, I was going to say a stagger kill onto Yami, but they do get kept alive. And here we go, someone's got to touch. TC Red Sky needs to be in position. It will be Ollie EU, in fact, that's touching. Mercy touching. Not entirely sure if that's the best decision to make, but probably the only decision that could be made. And here we go, pulse bomb into the back. Doesn't catch anything, but it is going to be a swap onto the Lucia from Ollie EU. Rod is going to fall, though, so no healing to be had here for TC Red Sky. Black Bulls should just be cleaning up on this one.
Yeah, they are. We should get some cleanups here. They have to get Lucio. They can't let Lucio sit up on top of that drum right here as well. We'll see how fast they can clean up Lucio, but this should be it. Great stun. Yeah, Yami with a great stun. That's going to be it. Fade really did their job well that last fight. Even though they lost the fight before that, Fade kind of chased Pills. I want to call that out. Chased Pillsbury all the way around the map. And then on top of that, got the immortality out. One clips the immortality and chases him. Obviously Pills are not doing much to turn around and try to fight Fade, trying to support their team as their primary focus there, but really Fade doing everything they can by simply extracting probably the best cooldown Black Bulls have. Obviously it didn't matter, the rest of their team had gotten in there and aggroed so many of them, they were able to take the first map, but Fade doing everything they could on the Tracer there. Sometimes that's all you can do, and trading your simple primary fire for immortality on the map alone, maximum value.
Yeah. Indeed, and Black Bulls, they're on they're on match point essentially, right? Match point, whatever it is. They are 1 point away from taking this long, grueling series, and it's gonna go back to basically the roots. Not quite as a Symmetra versus Cassidy, but very much similar to how it used to be. Draco's gonna get caught out here immediately, so I guess old things never change. Instead of being forced back, get taken it down, Fade with that fully charged beam, unable to, Hunter Draco unable to keep themselves alive. And that should just be Black Bulls losing the team fight. As soon as your Reinhardt goes down, that's about that. And TC Red Sky will get that into point gap.
Yeah, we really consistently seen, looks like they're going to clean up here. Fade's just going to wipe the whole team. We're talking,
oh my.
Fade with a laser melt, we're still in. Don't forget Hira just making him stand still for Fade to go ahead and generate that level 3 beam and get in there. But notice, Fade goes down, but Fade does have the wall coming back. Kryptonic has the shatter. Rod has the window, so Red Sky in a dominating position here. But, you know, really we've seen consistently, not the first Mei wall be the one that ends the fight, but the second. We've often seen teams get around the first Mei wall, then the second one comes in, which kind of is the counter wall, which has seemed to have been way more impactful this series than the first one. Kind of an interesting dynamic playing out here with the Mei versus Mei.
Yeah, and look at that debate, actually. Black Bulls made sure that TC Red Sky were out of the way before pushing it out to the right side. Now we get the Amp Matrixes mirrored on both sides. They're going to attempt to get that Fire Strike through, and it catches onto Mudaru. Flame Dragon doesn't have the presence of mind to get there in time. And TC Red Sky, they're executing on these fights really well.
Yeah, they are, and they're being smart. Look at the ult counters. We got no shatter. They really committed wall and and window. They still have 4 ults coming in. They're still ahead on economy after a dominating fight win. We'll have to see how they engage here. Obviously Black Bull's coming up on 5 ults themselves, but this is going to be that Q fight where you better take a big breath, Toasty, because you're gonna have to read out about 8 ults this next fight. But we'll really see what they're able to do. Expect to see at least both beats and both blizzards and probably both bombs too.
Oh, Kryptonic with a corner shatter doesn't manage to catch anything though. Smurf thinks it's the only casualty, but that bomb is right in there. TRJ takes down Smurf, and yeah, this is just chaos. A nice bomb though is gonna catch onto Ollie EU, and the follow-up is there from Black Bulls. That was like, what, how many ultimates? Maybe 8? Maybe 7, I think?
That was 7 total ultimates, yep, across both teams. We knew it was going to be nuts. Hunter Draco did retain the shatter. I thought he might. Kryptonic went for the early shatter. I applaud the effort. See if you can't catch him out and just win the fight with straight shatter. Hira retained Blizzard from TC Red Sky, unless that's another one and I missed the track there. But regardless, this should be Blizzard on a Red Sky for the retake.
And they're just going to TP right to the point. They don't care about taking the upfront and personal brawl fight. Now there's a Blizzard that comes through there. Hero a bit smarter that time around. Doesn't get it eaten up by Flame Dragon. And there's the cap. They're going to start accruing percentage and take down the members of Black Bulls. Hunter Draco goes for a Hail Mary Shatter, but even if they landed it, where was the follow-up going to be? 80% and counting of Black Bulls. They have to come up with something. They have to cook up some sort of concoction.
Yeah, and they have 10 seconds really at the end of the day. And Fade TC still has their best ult, which is the wall. Looks like they might push basement here, which is going to be interesting. I think we'll look for Fade just cut the point in half and derive value from the wall.
Yeah, here comes the wall, but it's a bit kind of skewed. I mean, you're going to stay in the corner and deal the damage. I suppose that's the idea here. There's pills for using the damage, but it's not getting much use here. Instead, it's just a Hunter Draco getting battered around in the front line, and there's a shatter from Kryptonic. Lands onto a couple. Oh my goodness, we are going the full distance here, Kobe. This is as close as it gets.
It is indeed, and really well engineered by Red Sky, really well played. They obviously TC Red Sky coming out with the win on the big fight there too. I don't know that I would have set the wall up like that. You said I think I would have let my teammates drive a little more value out of it than that. However, it certainly worked, right? They got the wall. The team seemed to focus the Symmetra in the corner, not wanting to, no one puts Baby in the corner, no one puts Fade in the corner with the wall, just accruing maximum level 2 beam damage through the actual wall itself. And now we go to downtown. We'll see what happens. We're gonna see Yami, like I thought, make the transition right back to the Reaper that was so dominant that first point, and see if Black Bulls can't go back to their roots and squeak this one out.
Yeah, this is the OG Black Bulls composition, and they're anticipating the ball comp, but it's not going to happen. We're seeing TC Red Sky actually opt into the brawl over the ball comps, and they're just going to get right in there. Look at them go. In fact, this is going to be a very nice dive coming through. We're all going to get taken down early on. Traded out, though, for Hunter Draco. Fortunately for TC Red Sky, though, Black Bulls are still ever present. They're still dealing damage, but Get the prison to Flame Dragon, but it's not enough. They're just not killing them off, I suppose. And yeah, TC Red Sky gonna slowly fall one by one. Black Bulls get that initial point cap. This is
Black Bulls are gonna cap, get the cleanup. I love the Moira. We see the double Moira fight here coming out on downtown, which is really interesting. You know, I think we've seen both teams really not elect to control much of the high grounds. We're gonna see Hero rotate to Sombra, but we haven't seen much teams really rotate most of the high grounds. Typically, you want to control high grounds in downtown, but they're going for kind of a double dive approach, and we'll see if the Sombra makes the difference for Red Sky.
Yeah, here we go. TC Red Sky caught out again. They're going to get the hack through, though, onto the enemy D.Va, but it's not going to matter too much. It's a Primal Rage in there from Hunter Draco, just causing so much chaos. Rod FD so low, taken down right as the beat lands. That is so unfortunate. Only just a second too late. And Yami's here with the rest of the kills. Kryptonic's going to fall. That's a lot of damage coming through from the Reaper guy. And Black Bulls are still pressing forward, still getting these kills, and really still winning with this composition.
Yeah, they are, and I mean it's Yami and Smurf going nuts. Smurf is inputting a ton of damage. You know, I really think Hira kind of hacked the wrong target there. I know they hacked the D.Va because they could. I think now in particular Hira needs to be ult tracking Yami, needs to ult track Yami, or hold the hack for the Coalescence.
Yeah, either of those are good targets, but look at this go. Yami's in there with a Death Blossom and lots of damage coming through. But Fade is taking down Hunter Draco. It doesn't matter though. Black Bulls are still going to aggress. They're still going to get up in their faces, win the team fight, and they can just wait for Hunter Draco to return.
They can, and they know that they just used some ults. They still have it though. Black Bulls really wants to get aggressive here and force the fight just where they did, even up ahead. Let the percentage accrue on the point, and I don't know that they want to let them fight all the way to point, but it looks like they're going to let them.
Yeah, here's the EMP coming through. Only catches onto two though. A Death Blossom from Fade, trying to follow up onto it. As Flame Dragon uses the bomb and actually a false bomb from Smurf. Neither bomb catching anything. So it looks like TC Red Sky have gotten into things and they're looking to follow up on the remaining players. There's not enough healing there from Pilsver. In fact, they're going to fall. So Yami can't quite clutch up in this team fight as much as they would like to. But it is OT now. TC Red Sky 0-99 to win the series. Can they do it?
Yeah, this is, and for all the marbles, right? They got 95 seconds to go, and I think that's exactly what we said. You know, Black Bulls didn't force the fight where they really, frankly, in my opinion, should have. Might have had them to air a different chance. You look at Red Sky, still got a bunch of ults. They're doing really well with their ult discipline. They don't need all of them here. And in fact, if they commit all of them here, I think that's a death sentence. So we'll see how it goes.
Yes, just the Coalescence early on, so smart usage, like you were saying. They don't want to commit too hard into this. Well, Hunter Draco's in there, going to use a Primal Rage, forcing some people back, and in fact getting Rod out of the way so everyone else can fall. Look at that play, just juggling all the supports away, and Ollie not able to get the beat off in time. Yami, 3 kills, and looking for a little bit more as well here.
4.
Slowly going to get chunked down. And yeah, I mean, this is just going to be a win here for Black Bulls unless Kryptonic takes out Pilsver, so no Coalescence available, and TRJ takes down Hunter Draco. TC are not out of it just yet as Ollie returns as well with the feat, and it looks like they're going to be the victors of this team fight. Somehow they pulled that one back from the brink, right? In fact, Pilsver is still going to invest. They're still going to use a Coalescence. An EMP comes through from TC Red Sky, so it is just ults on both sides, desperately trying to win this one out. But Smurf falls to that stray orb from Rod FD. And this should just be a win for TC Red Sky. They're stabilizing now. They take out Hunter Draco, and in fact, Kryptonic almost goes down to Yami there. In fact, does go down to Yami there, but it's not enough, I don't think. Black Bulls have to reset now, otherwise it's all over.
Yeah, for the second time, we see TC Red Sky never say die. They keep getting back in there. Everyone's just ulting as soon as they get it. It's just pure madness on points. Still to this day, the stagger kill on the Smurf is going to be enormous with 12 seconds on the clock and running. Red's got to come all the way back. They have Coalescence. They want to use it early. They want to use Bomb early. They want to generate any early advantage they can. Throw the Bomb. Use the Coalescence. Generate the Blossom kills. They want to get advantage here.
Here's the Coalescence early on. Rod into the thick of Black Bulls' composition. Mudaro just got the beat online in time, but Fade with the Death Blossom. Look at them go. So much damage coming through there. Yami has one of their own, but they're hacked up and cannot use it. And EMP prevents them from using it. Yami cannot clutch up right now for Black Bulls, and the bomb into the side. It looks like Yami might be able to use it now, and here we go. Fade.
Oh,
and Kryptonic goes off the map into the drink. Are you kidding me? This could be it. Black Bulls are coming through with the series win. It looks like a Smurf takes down Ali, and Rod FD will be the next one to fall. Black Bulls at the brink of losing it all. They manage to claw it.
They have a touch. They have a touch. Here is on.
Down, and it will be the touch Hero's gonna come
That's
back.
gonna
Yes,
be
that touch, but it's not enough. Black Bulls, they bite back. They win the series. That was a thriller, Kobe.
They win the series by 1 second at the very end. Oh, I feel like we're watching the grand finals of an owl match with, you know, you could feel how much both teams wanted it. You know, they wanted it, and Black Bulls really pulled it out towards the end. They had to be nervous when Hira got off that huge EMP to deny them. You know, but then on the same, you know, their same inhale of breath when they get EMP, they exhale a little bit when Kryptonic, unfortunately, like you said, falls into the drink. Big splash down below. That's a big monkey splash. They're like, oh man, at least we got one back. And then, you know, Yami obviously able to come back and use the Blossom and generate some value and kind of put the match away really for Black Bulls. But, you know, I think that this should be a lesson to Yami. You know, Reaper. Right? You know, you dominate on Reaper.
Guy.
You play Reaper again on control. You know, your control pick is Reaper for sure, and they went nuts. But yeah, what like you said, thriller in Manila here for the last match, down to 1 second. 1 second of gameplay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like we say, that was a thriller. Like, which of these players is Michael Jackson, do you think?
Oh man, you know, I mean, if I had to pick a player, I think from either team, you know, I love a lot of Kryptonic's play on Ryan on Kings Row, but you know, there's just there's so many plays and value things we could isolate. It's really hard. It's really hard for me to pick a Michael Jackson today.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to. I mean, you can give credit to every single player there because everyone put their all into that game, and you can tell, even though there was a little bit of a mishap towards the end there as well, with Kryptonite obviously falling off the map, but we don't talk about that. It wasn't too impactful at the end of the day. It really came down to that last second of gameplay, like you were saying, and yeah, Black Bulls, they claw it back at the end. They start off with a 2-0 on Nepal, and they come back with a 2-1 on Busan after losing the middle few maps. And in all reality, I did not expect that from them. We'll see, you know, the maps are here. Look how close some of those maps were.
Yeah, really crazy. We watched an 0-2, and then a 5-4, and then 3-0, and then a 3-4. And then a 1-2. And then a 1-2. So, you know, really, really back and forth, really, really well contested. We knew it going in. We had 2-4-4 teams. It was going to be really well contested. But I think it's important to understand neither team here should be leaving today, you know, with anything but chins held high. You know, that was a crazy effort. You know, that was exactly what we expected for you know, kind of a playoff game. But an absolutely very strong, you know, showing by both teams, and I think both teams did some great things, and both teams will have a lot to review in VOD after this.
Yeah, and that was only first round of playoff games. There's a lot more GGU coming to you guys over the next few weeks. I've been Toasty. This has been Coach Kobe alongside, and he wasn't technically supposed to be here at the start, but did brilliantly subbing in. So thank you, man, for casting alongside me. Brilliant experience. Thank you all for watching. We'll be seeing you, I believe, later on tonight, actually, for the NA games.
Oh, sounds good. All right. Well, thanks, GGU. Thanks for having me. It was a blast.
They did find Cucumber, but he's going to lift him.
Oh, Vulcan gets caught right into that, and Speed is going to be
Oh,
able to follow
no.
up. Talking
You
about
let
jumping
him
over to the Doofus, talking about playing into the Doofus.
A manos de la bola. Ya son 3 las picks que conseguía el equipo de British Hurricane.
We need your help to decide our opinion outpost MVP of the match.
It's got a minute to kind of work some sort of pick against this stock, and oh my good lord, they just got eviscerated.
Oh! He's not dead! Hey, now he's dead!
Holy cow, I've never seen someone get so aggressive.
Oh, catches their opponent outside of the building, and that is it.
It's Rocket League Wednesday on the High School Esports League home room. I am, as the kids say, vibing right now. This is just fumes for them, while Pharaoh rips shot after shot after shot of the back of them.
Good wall towards site, but it's already been broken, so they can't even get that spike down trustedly. Camera over towards site, and again, it's getting all that information. Heapbot going absolutely massive!
Here in this map number 4 season, up on championship point, being up 2-1. Nifty dropped down to 19 HP. Joker with his M13 in hand is just trying to hold the angles.
There you go again, looking so handsome. Oh, you have your way, and it's making me weaken. You and your style.